What's good in the hood and what's real in the field? You have just tuned in to the best Pop the Trunk podcast out of the ill, Recency Bias Radio,
T.I.P.
where no one is safe from
T.I.P.
criticism. Trouble.
T.I.P.
in paradise.
That's what.
Adam Banks know we made a mistake, succeeding with fake friends. Now what keeps him awake? Went from shaking and baking to a known cupcake, and every time you play the tough guy role, you pump fake. Yeah, you got yourself some rings, but all of them welfare. Your teammates saying they don't need your help there. Facts. I know you salty dog, but who the hell cares? You ruined the league with all your beta male affairs. Abandoned Westbrook in a pinch and made us cringe. See, that snake shit won't let you drag in a sin. You let Dre turn you on your best friend. No question, you have no loyalty, you just a yes man. So you did all of this just to sit up on a bench and be called a bitch by the man that made you flip? With a real goon present, you don't want no smoke. Stop trying to be hard, it ain't that hard to grow, you know? Learn from it.
This that T.I.P. T.I.P.
What's up? What's up?
This that T.I.P. Only trouble in paradise, what I see.
708, we do this.
T.I.P. It's that T.I.P. Recency Bias. It's that T.I.P. Only trouble in paradise, what I see.
A black quarterback can get no love unless he buck dancing or got European blood. A white quarterback graded on a curve. No matter what he do, they never gonna sully his work.
Talk that shit.
Ain't that many great white hopes for them to rep, but they rather pay a bum than give a black man a check. Like the Bills, for example, when they let Tyrod go, then resign Nathan Peterman, who cannot throw. They give blacks an ultimatum, play receiver or retire. Something wrong when your best quarterback, Terrell Pryor. It's a clear double standard, I cannot go. This that Recency Bias Radio.
This that T.I.P. Yeah. It's that T.I.P. It's that T.I.P. Only trouble in paradise, what I see. T.I.P. Yeah, it's that T.I.P. What's up? It's that T.I.P. It's that Recency Bias Radio on the beat. Yeah, T.I.P. It's that T.I.P. Yeah, it's that T.I.P. Only trouble in paradise, what I see. T.I.P. Yeah, T.I.P. It's that T.I.P.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 4, Episode 2 of the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk Podcast Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio. And I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, all of the above on that ISAT test and that ACT. You know what it is. And this is a special Thanksgiving presentation of Recency Bias Radio. I had to give y'all something to listen to while you're riding around on Wednesday on a road trip, heading your way towards the fam. You know, sometimes we just need a podcast strictly for traveling. And I feel like my podcast, especially the premiere episode, which was 4 hours, and I didn't even expect it to be. I mean, several times during the episode, you saw me say this is only a 2 hour long. Like, I ended up just making it 4 because I had too much stuff to talk about. But the great news about this is, the premiere you build from that's the foundation of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Meaning it's only gonna get better from here. So stick with me. In this episode, we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. More double standards in the NFL. We're gonna talk Rodgers versus Brady. We're gonna talk about the NFL being racist towards Hugh Jackson. We're gonna talk about the Cowboys just systematically dismantling the Eagles like I said they would. And even though I said we wouldn't lose to the Titans, even though we did, the Titans ended up beating the Patriots a week after, so I feel better about that. I don't know about y'all. But we're gonna get into a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's topics galore. We got Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz. I'm bringing it back to the forefront because more things need to be said, ladies and gentlemen. We still got more boxing talk, more MMA talk. We got Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco versus Lamar Jackson. We have so many things to dive into. I mean, the Chiefs-Rams game just happened last night. I purposely did not record this podcast until now because I had a feeling all of my takes would be better if I just waited to the last second. And yeah, I know, procrastination is a bad trait to have. But when you're as good as I am at what I do, sometimes you do need to wait and just be confident that you'll do it correctly. And that's what I did. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just scrolling up and down some of the topics. NBA, we're going to talk about Jamal Murray versus Kyrie. Kyrie, you're a little butthurt fan. We're going to talk about LeBron smashing Beyonce? Oh my God. Top 5 scoring of all time? I mean, there are so many topics, y'all. And that's just me giving you a quick little rundown. I mean, JR demanded a trade. Melo wants to be released by Houston. There are so many. Well, Melo was released by Houston. Let me take that back. He didn't want shit. He got. But it's so many stuff to talk about. I am amped up, ladies and gentlemen, and I am excited because I told people, man, y'all gonna have to wait till December 1st. And I thought about it. I said, man, it's way too much stuff to discuss before December 1st. I'm gonna fuck around and have another 4-hour podcast if I wait that long. For really, though. And you know we gotta get into this KD Adam Banks shit. We gonna save that for the end. But we also got Jimmy Butler to the Sixers. There's a lot of stuff to get into. So please be patient with me, ladies and gentlemen. Please get yourself a nice cold beverage. If you smoke, roll one up. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. I'm not gonna tell you how long this is gonna be, but hey, whether you're watching on YouTube live with me or whether you're listening to it on demand on SoundCloud, I'm thankful for you being here with me. All right, so let's start it off. Let's start off strong. And one more time, happy Thanksgiving to all who is celebrating it. If you're not, I understand if you're not. All right, happy holidays to you. I believe that is the ambiguous thing to say these days. But anyway, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Let's start off with the heavy hitters, the two great white hopes, okay? It seemed like Drew Brees this season is starting to inch his way into that great white hope debate. But it seemed like before now, they didn't really respect him because he was short. It kind of felt like even white folks was discriminating against his ass. I don't know. All right, maybe it's the brown birthmark on his face. Maybe that's too much melanin and they don't want to claim him yet. I don't know. But let me stop bullshitting. Anyway, so you got Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Now understand, this rivalry was completely concocted by the media. 100% concocted by the media. And see, I feel bad for you Packers and Patriots fans because you all just fell hook, line, and sinker into what the media wanted you to fall into. They wanted you all arguing over who the better quarterback is. Now, if you ask me, a neutral, who I think is the better quarterback, it's Aaron Rodgers. Now, if you were to ask me who is the more clutch quarterback, it's Tom Brady. See, Skip Bayless has created this new environment of media where you gotta be clutch in order to be the best. No, you can be the best and not be the most clutch. All right, now LeBron is clutch and the best. So at the end of the day, you can't really use that example for basketball. But at the end of the day, though, who would I rather have on my team if I'm building a team around someone? It's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not gonna bullshit you there. But at the same time, though, come on, man. You can't take away what Tom Brady has. You know, in a lot of ways, when I'm looking at this Tom Brady-Aaron Rodgers debate, it reminds me a lot of the Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff debate. Because I'm watching the game last night, and I can't help but notice Patrick Mahomes is playing with a garbage defense, and his team 100% solely relies on him to get the job done. Jared Goff can rely on Todd Gurley. He can rely on his all-pro defensive tackle. He can rely on his other all-pro defensive tackle. He can rely on a lot more things. But see, that's the thing though. When you're a black quarterback, you have to rise above whatever negative handicap you might be working with. Because the white folks ain't gonna give you no symbolized victories, as I talk about. They're not gonna give you that. Now, if you're a white guy and you lose, they'll give you that till the cows come home. Because that's how the media works, okay? The media is spending more time, I'll get on this in a second, but they're spending more time criticizing Dak, even though his team won, than they are criticizing Matty DeFrost for taking a fucking L, okay? This is how they do us, okay? This is how they do us. But to get back to the Rodgers and Brady thing, first off, both contingencies of fan bases need to shut the fuck up. You're both spoiled rotten. Green Bay, you're spoiled because you got one legendary quarterback after another. You got two back-to-back. Okay, you don't know what it's like to truly rebuild right now because you've had basically 30 years of sustained greatness. You're one of the lucky ones, okay? You're one of the outliers. And I can say the same for New England. New England, you're one of the few teams who get to have a legendary quarterback and a legendary coach never basically leave each other in their careers. Now, I understand with the whole Garoppolo thing, Belichick was choosing on Garoppolo. Brady wasn't liking it. And Brady pretty much engineered Garoppolo being sent away because he was like, hey, we ain't finna pay Garoppolo max money and have him ride the bench. And then I got less of a supporting cast to help me win. And I understand that from Tom Brady's perspective. But at the end of the day, it's like they say, Father Time is undefeated. If I'm the Patriots, why does everyone else get to be traded right before their prime? Well, right before they're not worth shit. Why are all these other people expendable, but Tom Brady isn't? I would trade Tom Brady too. If there was a team that was willing to give me 3 first-round picks for Tom Brady, he can go. But see, that's back when I had Garoppolo to replace him. And I'm not even sold on Garoppolo as a player, to be honest, because once he start fucking with them prostitutes, he got hurt. He ain't had no legs. But that's neither here nor there. This motherfucker out here with porn stars. I'm like, bro, you must be a nerd in your everyday life. Because I can't see no real nigga with real money. And I know he ain't a black dude. I'm just speaking in generalities here. But my point is, I can't see no rich man who just signed a big deal fucking with a porn star. Unless he a fucking cornball. Garoppolo, you a fucking cornball. I can tell you a corny ass dude. Just by that alone. But at the end of the day, I think this rivalry between Rodgers and Brady, created by the media once again, I think it is sparking legit hate between these two historic, well, between one historic franchise in Green Bay and a cheating Deflategate, Spygate franchise like New England. See, people want to keep talking about New England like they deserve to be in this group. And I left out a couple of teams like the 49ers, for instance. And that's why I brought up Garoppolo in the last episode. I mentioned certain teams that were part of hip-hop, I mean, not hip-hop, but NFL lore. They're NFL royalty. You got the Bears, you got the Packers, you got the Cowboys, you got the Steelers, okay? You got the 49ers, and you got the Broncos. I think those are the 6 teams. I think I may have got ahead of myself when I mentioned some other teams, but those are the 6 stalwarts, okay? Every team besides those 6, they're far behind. New England, yeah, they had some success here in this new millennium, but no one really respects their success because they've been exposed for cheating. And we're going to get into some stuff with Greg Williams and Hugh Jackson a little bit later that'll further back up my whole point of how racist the NFL truly is. And it's not just about quarterbacks where it's racist. It's racist with head coaches. It's racist in so many ways. You know, a black quarterback like Lamar Jackson, tons of athleticism. They got this motherfucker playing wide out, you know, doing gadget plays when we all know Joe Flacco's trash. You know, little shit like that. But I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But at the end of the day, Green Bay, I don't think you should sully yourself as a fan base, as a franchise, by going back and forth with the Patriots. Because at the end of the day, they will never be royalty because they cheated for shit, right? See, people try to change the narrative on Belichick in the present day and say, well, he cares so much about winning, he'll do whatever it takes, even cheat. And I'm like, only for a white dude is that considered a good trait to have, willing to do whatever it takes. If you're a black guy, and you come from nothing, you come from poverty, and you're willing to do whatever it takes, they look at you like a cockroach, okay? A white guy does it, they say he pulled himself up from his bootstraps. It is 2 different types of narratives that are being pushed when there are 2 people, both from the ghettos of their various cultures, and then they come and meet up in a professional format. So I'm not buying that bullshit either, all right? But at the end of the day, I agree with Green Bay fans. Mike McCarthy is not a very good coach. He's good, but let's be real, he stayed a few seasons too long. And that's because he won that 1 Super Bowl. And that 1 Super Bowl y'all won was kind of fluky because y'all never went back. And Clay Matthews is only getting older. And you ain't finna replace him anytime soon unless you're that bad to replace him. So, and I don't know where Green Bay, New England, where do they be finding all these white dudes that are cold at football? Like the Cowboys, we found one, the tackling Dutchman, you know, and shout out to Shannon Sharp for coining that nickname. I like that nickname, coach. I just call him LV Easel, you know what I'm saying? LV Easy, you know what I'm saying? But now though, y'all see we got the sauce over this way in Dallas. See, y'all thought I was full of shit in the last episode. I've been proven correct. We lost 1 game since that podcast episode. No, we ain't lost since that podcast. No, we have, because after the bye, we lost to the Titans. That's right. But we're 2-1 since getting Amari Cooper. I told y'all we would be 9-7 this season with him, and Louis, you look at it now, we're 5-5. We're close. But yeah, I don't want to jump all over the place, but Anybody besides me find it suspicious that the Patriots lost big to both the Titans and the Lions, who both suspiciously, coincidentally, happen to have two head coaches that were former Patriots guys? You got Mike Vrabel, who's coaching the Titans, and then you got that fat defensive coordinator guy with the beard that used to coach the Patriots a season ago. Now, here's my question. How did the Patriots beat the Chiefs the way they beat them, and then they can't outscore the Titans or Lions? Can we be honest with ourselves and call bullshit? I think Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, I think they're doing something to scratch their friends' backs. I think they're doing this to secure their job. But see, that ruins the integrity of the game. What if someone bet all of their money on the Patriots winning that game? You cost them a lot of money showing favoritism towards another team just because who's the coach of it. See, this can open a slippery slope. But see, no one is speaking on this. The Patriots lost to the Lions and Titans. Both of these teams, no one picked to make the playoffs preseason. And they beat the Patriots? Come on, man, that ain't right. And the way the Titans beat the Patriots, that happened around the time usually the Patriots never lose, which is in November. So this is just bizarre to me. So my question to y'all, comment below. Is Brady and Belichick losing these games on purpose to throw their guys a bone? Like, real talk, that is the question I have for y'all. But at the end of the day, I would like y'all also to answer in the comment section below, who is a better quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, and give me a reason why, all right? Now, to move on to the NFL being racist as shit. Now, Hugh Jackson gets fired by the Browns, and he gets replaced by the defensive coordinator, who is Greg Williams. Now, to provide some clarity to y'all, this is another thing I find very suspicious, and it just goes to show that a dirty white guy's past, no matter how bush league it is, he can always find his way back to the forefront. So you got a guy like Greg Williams, who infamously won a Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints. But remember, the Super Bowl that they won, that was the season Brett Favre came back out of retirement with the Vikings and almost made it to the Super Bowl. In my opinion, Brett Favre should have won that game. It went to overtime, I believe, and I think he threw a pick. I might be wrong, but I think that's what happened. I think he threw it to Tracy something. I forgot dude's name, but Tracy Porter. I think that was the dude's name, and he made a big money off that interception. I think he ended up playing for the Bears at some point too, Tracy Porter. But safe to say he's not in the league anymore. But the reason why I'm saying this is, if you remember correctly, the Saints won against Brett Favre because of something that was a scandal called Bountygate. And Bountygate essentially was this defensive coordinator giving players money under the table for injuring other players on the opposite side. They were injuring people on purpose. Now, here's my question. How does Hugh Jackson get fired? All right? Because a rookie quarterback says he doesn't want to play for him anymore. Now, that's pure white privilege in itself, which I've already spoken on. I won't dive back into that. But my point is, how does a white rookie dictate who is his head coach, get one black man fired, and granted, a white offensive coordinator got fired with him, granted, but they were struggling on offense, so it was easy for that white offensive coordinator to get fired too. But notice, they didn't really give that black man a chance to take over the offensive play calling. They just fired him outright. That's bullshit. And I have reason to believe Baker Mayfield didn't want Hugh Jackson to look good, so he purposely played bad when Hugh Jackson was calling the plays. Which shows me that dude got a little bit of quitter in him. Because who the fuck purposely tanks to get rid of their coach in football? You feel me? Any moment you could lose your fucking leg playing half speed. I just think it's a dick move. Well, anyway, this just goes to show that a white man can have skeletons in his past and the media will choose to ignore it. I mean, like real talk. Like, and see, here's another thing. Here's another point to back up my argument, ladies and gentlemen. The Cowboys have a quarterback coach named Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was Dak Prescott's backup. This bitch nigga retired. He's a white quarterback from Boise State. He retires, and they hire him as a quarterback coach. Since when can I take your job, you quit because you can't play better than me, and then you're allowed to coach me? What kind of dumb shit? This is what I'm talking about, yo. Now, let me ask y'all this question. When Cordell Stewart was the quarterback before Ben Roethlisberger, when Ben Roethlisberger took his job, all right, I think Ben Roethlisberger took Cordell Stewart's job. I might be wrong on that, but at the end of the day, was Cordell Stewart ever offered a coaching position to coach Big Ben? Think about that. When have you ever seen a black quarterback? When RG3 lost his job to Kirk Cousins, was anyone saying, hey, but RG3, you'd be a great quarterback's coach? No one. And see, that's my point. They find jobs for white folks. They find jobs for them. And see, I know there's people that's like, man, I'm getting tired of you bringing it up. No, this means everything. Because if a dude can get his back scratched and has no talent to deserve getting his back scratched besides the color of his skin, then it ain't race baiting. Then it ain't me reaching. It's me proving a point. Dak Prescott, people keep nitpicking what he can't do wrong, and then you got a dude that couldn't beat him for his spot. Y'all say Dak can't throw. So this dude must really can't throw. So how the fuck is he a coach of throwing a football? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, man? This can only... Y'all know damn well this a double standard, man, and I'm gonna keep bringing up points, man. Like, real talk. When was this ever happening the other way around, though? I don't remember Seneca Wallace coaching Big Ben. I don't remember none of these niggas coaching Big Ben after he took their job, okay? You know? And see, it drives me nuts because people say dumb shit like, Dak doesn't need coaching. His throwing mechanics are flawed. But then you look at a guy like Mitchell Trubisky, who was hot dumpster fire doo-doo last season. He gets a head coach that's got gadgets and knows how to do all of this motion and shit like that, Matt Nagy. And you know what? I'm going to give that head coach some props because that head coach proved something. If Dak had a if Dak had a head coach like that was willing to move shit around like that and confuse the D, Dak would be doing some crazy shit too. Because let's be real, Mitchell Trubisky freezes up in close games. He gets scared. He gets nervous. I was watching that game between them and the Vikings. They was up 11-0 and they blew the fucking lead and barely won by 5 points at the end. But if you would have looked at Mitchell Trubisky in the first half, he was doing all of these little quarterback rushes and shit, sliding, smiling, you know, kind of Stephanie the way he was showboating a bit, but he ain't had that same energy towards the end of the game because he was starting to wear down a bit. Dak Prescott, he's in the weight room. He ain't wearing down for none of that bullshit, bro. Dak is built like a running back, like a fullback. And that's the difference, bro. But, yeah, I mean, and it drives me nuts, though, because you got the media out here asking questions like, is Dak's career a failure so far? Like, what? What kind of question is this? This is terrible journalism. The dude was a 4th-round pick. How the hell can a 4th-round pick, first off, how can a 4th-round pick have high expectations in the first place? That's number one. The fact that his expectations are at all heightened is the fact behind he's played well, not because he's been a failure. So how can you play well and be a failure at the same time? All right, that's the first thing I want to filibuster. Secondly, how the hell can 2 straight winning seasons be a failure for a 1st-round pick? That just doesn't even make sense. A 4th-round pick goes 13-3, 9-7, and y'all say he's a failure. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz has only had 1 season above fucking 500, and this season might not be above 500. So Carson Wentz might have 2 losing seasons out of 3, and Dak might have 3 straight winning seasons, and y'all are calling one a failure, even though the one who is failing is the #1 overall pick of the same draft. You see how this shit works? You see the bullshit at play here? And I say this one more time. I dare one of y'all to debate me on this. Alright? I dare you. Alright? Like, the coddling the media does for Carson Wentz, or as Skip Bayless calls him, W-I-N-C-E, Wentz. Because, see, Skip is seeing what I'm seeing. And me and Skip don't agree on a lot of shit. But now that I ain't no huge LeBron fan, I guess I'm starting to see where Skip is coming from on certain things more and more. But I've always respected his football acumen because we're Cowboys fans. But at the end of the day, Skip sees what I see. There's a certain level of softness with Carson Wentz. Very soft. Very soft. Motherfucker wears an NBA arm sleeve like he's doing something. Then he throws straight up duck balls into the ground. Who the fuck throws ground balls? Then people say, oh, it's because of his ACL. Bro, if his arm is so strong, he should be able to wheel that bitch in the air without having to throw a duck, okay? Y'all talking like that's what Dak do. Let Dak throw one of them balls into the ground, though. Y'all would shit on him. And see, that's my point, man. Anyway, what I want to know is, if that's failing to them, for Dak Prescott, a 4th-round pick to have 2 straight winning seasons, why don't they ever use the same rhetoric about white quarterbacks who have bad seasons? Huh? Why can't none of these be looked at as failures? You feel me? Colt McCoy is still in the league. Still in the fucking league somehow. Alex Smith gets hurt, and now Colt McCoy is expected to lead the Redskins to the playoffs? And there's actual people picking the Redskins to still win the NFC East because they hate Dak Prescott so much. It's astounding, man. People are defending this blatant racism by saying it's because Dak is a cowboy. They need to stop, okay? See, I feel like when people go out of their way to say, it's not racism, bro. It's the fact that Dak plays for the Cowboys that brings out all this hate. No, that's bullshit. Now, am I willing to admit that that contributes to the hate? Yes. But am I willing to say that's the reason for the hate? Absolutely not. Because the media love themselves some Troy Aikman. The media... They didn't really like Tony Romo that much. Let's be real. They waited until Tony Romo broke down a bit to give him some respect. The same way they kind of waited for Bryant to break down a bit to give him some respect. And that's another thing I got a problem with. All you motherfuckers that's talking about, I just want to see Dez get a ring. Where were y'all niggas at when the Cowboys was 13-3 2 seasons ago? I didn't hear a single one of y'all niggas say, I just want to see Dez get a ring. Because y'all not really giving a fuck about Dez. Y'all want another white quarterback to win deep down, and if Dez is a role player on Drew Brees' team, you okay with that. Because deep down, you got some self-hate, all right? And that's why you don't root for the black quarterback. It's not built into your genetic code to root for that man, all right? Because you're looking at yourself and going, why can't I do what he doing? I'm gonna hate him. That's what's going on, B. Come on, man. But like I'm saying, stop chalking it off as, oh, he a cowboy and that's why they're disrespecting him. They're disrespecting him because he's a black man representing the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are America's team. The last thing the majority of these conservative people, and I don't even want to blame it all on conservatives because liberals got some problems too. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like the fact that a black man is the face of America's team because they want a white man to be the face of America's team. It's really that simple. So everything this black man does, they're going to downplay as not that good. It's just that simple, all right? And if this is truly just because he's a Cowboy player, answer this question. Why do they still treat Cam Newton like shit in the media? Ooh. See, you ain't got no answer for that. Why they treat Tyrod Taylor like shit in Cleveland? Ooh. You ain't got no answer for that. They signed Nathan Peterman over Tyrod Taylor. Hell, I mentioned it in the song. I wrote that song in 2 hours, by the way. I'm a fucking problem. But anyway... I'm a fucking problem, bro. I got off work and said, let me knock this out. You feel it, dig me? Quick math. But anyway, why they still treating Cam Newton like dog shit then, if it's that simple? It's because it ain't about you being on what team. Because these teams are just brands, right? It's all about the human being. And Dak has never said anything wrong. He has played the game perfectly. Now, Cam, has he said some things that are wrong here and there? Yes. He's made some mistakes, but Dak hasn't made half the amount of mistakes as Cam. Still gets treated like dog shit. He hasn't made half the mistakes as Jameis, but they still nitpick his game more than any other quarterback in the league. Matthew Stafford right now is like, what, 4-6? Is anyone nitpicking his game? Has anyone nitpicked his game for years? It's like they keep giving Matt Stafford a pass. And by trading away Golden Tate to the Eagles, they gave him another pass for a bad season. Oh, he lost his best receiver, Dave. Oh, all he has is Marvin Jones. But let's be real. That dude, Kenny Galladay, he can play. I didn't know he was from Chicago. That boy can ball. I'm a fan of that guy. That boy can ball. Detroit, y'all got yourselves another one. Y'all had Megatron. I'm not saying he on that Megatron level, but... I think he gonna be a problem. I say maybe one more year, he'll be in a Pro Bowl. Probably. You know what I'm saying? You know, they won't give Jameis any benefit of the doubt for this Uber shit, even though Roethlisberger was accused of rape. So understand, this excuse of Dak is on the Cowboys and that's why it's a double standard towards him. That shit ain't gonna fly with me. Use that with someone that don't know their history, all right? Trubisky is straight garbage, but the media gives him credit every time his team wins, no matter how they win. They beat the Vikings 25-20, and he only threw for 168 yards. Let me say that one more time. Trubisky only threw for 168 yards. Now, remember the barometer on Dak is, if he don't throw for 200 yards, he's trash. No one has that to say about Trubisky, though. No one. And I'd argue Trubisky is being carried by his defense way more than Dak is. Because Dak is actually leading his team down on fourth quarter drives to win games. What is Trubisky doing in the fourth quarter? Not a damn thing. All right? He just relies on his D to make the stop. Like, come on, man. Let's be honest here. All right? This man's team started the game 11-0 at home with the lead. Okay? This shows Trubisky as a front runner just like Stephanie. If you make the game close and you keep it pressure packed, he doesn't play the same. Trubisky is clearly only playing better this year because of his head coach. But notice how people talk about Dak like coaching can't improve his game, but they're the same ones ignoring how coaching has helped Trubisky's game. This is done by design to give Trubisky all the credit and not make him look like a system player, while also changing the narrative to Dak not being coachable, a stigma that has always followed black quarterbacks. Are you following me here? See, I'm spitting these facts, man. Nobody will even mention Trubisky not throwing for 200 yards in the media. They reserve that specifically for Dak Prescott. They won't mention it with that Baker Mayfield kid either. These cats can throw for 200 yards because they're so efficient. Isn't that game managing though? If Trubisky or Baker Mayfield only throw for 20 times in a game, isn't that game managing? You know, Dak Prescott throws at least 30 times a game, but he's called a game manager that you can't win with, who's a backup quarterback. And yet you got these dudes who were picked #1 overall in the draft giving passes for the same shit. It's bullshit. Why do you hold my 4th round quarterback to a higher standard than your first pick in the draft? What is it about my quarterback that makes him have high expectations if you already admit he isn't that talented? See, people are contradicting themselves left and right to hide their racism. That's what it is, to hide their bigotry. These are the facts. Now, Baker Mayfield barely threw for 200 yards, but the media loves him for beating the Falcons. Notice, Dak beat the Falcons a week after that. He didn't get half the amount of love. But anyway, let's continue. He even after the game was allowed to say that he woke up feeling pretty dangerous, quote unquote. And of course the media eats it up and loves it. But Baker, you only threw 20 passes in the game. If Dak only throws 20 passes, he's a game manager. Nobody is calling Baker a game manager. In fact, Chris Carter a week ago said Baker Mayfield was better than Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes is 8-1, damn it. Come on, man. They even got Chris Carter cooning. They even got him cooning on First Things First, man. Like, these are the facts, dog. This is once again showing how black quarterbacks are judged on a different scale. Next thing I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, because it fits right in with the black quarterback situation. Joe Flacco hating on Lamar Jackson. Joe Flacco, every single day of your life, you should throw Ray Lewis and his family $100. Because without that, brother, you would have you wouldn't even have a max contract. All right, you still in money. All right, you shouldn't have won Super Bowl MVP. And let's be real, a lot of these Super Bowl MVPs, they don't really make sense how they give it to certain people. But it's interesting. Whenever there is a player who clearly deserves it, there's always a quarterback trying to steal the glory from them by doing too much in a game. We've seen Russell Wilson do that. And I'd argue Flacco didn't deserve that Super Bowl MVP. Ray Lewis deserved it. Because remember, the Ravens, they had a big lead and almost blew that bitch, all right? But if it wasn't for the defense holding up, they lose that game. Because the offense didn't score again, really, in that second half. So how the fuck does Joe Flacco get a Super Bowl MVP when he's the motherfucker who couldn't get no points in the second half? He basically pulled a Matt Ryan. Difference is Kaepernick didn't pull a Brady. So we look at the game differently. Now, to get back to this Joe Flacco hating on Lamar Jackson, my biggest problem with all of this is they have a great GM over there in Baltimore. A great GM, you know. This dude is usually responsible for signing a lot of Alabama Crimson Tide players. His name is Ozzie Newsome, okay? He was definitely one of probably the best general manager we'll ever see, if I'm being completely honest with you. Better than Bill Belichick, in my opinion. But Belichick, he's a coach as well, so he's able to make some of the mistakes. He's able to cover up his mistakes with coaching. Whereas Ozzie Newsome, he just has to trust his gut, draft that guy. But all of his picks have led to sustained success. Sustained success. Say that 10 times without stuttering. But yeah, so Ozzie Newsome, he's stepping down at the end of this season, which worries me for Lamar Jackson in the long run, because he needs Ozzie Newsome to build around him. They just got Ty Montgomery from the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers don't seem to need Montgomery because they got this new kid that's balling. I forgot his name, Jaron something. I can't remember homeboy's name, but he's balling. But I want y'all to look up a video clip if y'all haven't seen this before. Go on YouTube and type in, I believe it's Flacco misses Lamar Jackson on purpose or something. Essentially, it was like, I don't know, 3rd and goal maybe. Or maybe they were just in the red zone. and it was like 3rd and 8 or something. I can't really remember. But anyway, Flacco hikes the ball. He's in shotgun. Now, you know he's right-handed. So Flacco, he's scanning the field. Lamar Jackson comes out of the backfield, and he does basically a halfback kind of wheel route to the end zone. And while he's running the wheel route, no one is guarding him. So he's waving for the ball by the pylon. He's ready to catch it and score a touchdown. Joe Flacco was such a hater. He was so bad that this dude was there to replace him that he chose, you know what, we ain't gonna score shit on this drive. We gonna kick a field goal because I'm not gonna let you score a touchdown and have more publicity. So understand, there's a little bit of racism in the locker room that gets covered up a lot too here. You know, look at Drew Brees. His backup quarterback is a white boy named Taysom Hill. He voluntarily subs out of the game to let this kid play a little bit. Now, a lot of times they're blowing people out when they do it, but sometimes they run wildcat plays. Sometimes this Taysom Hill kid, sometimes he lines up as a wide receiver for Drew Brees. My point is, Drew Brees don't mind giving him the ball. Tom Brady don't mind giving Edelman the ball. Tom Brady don't mind giving all of these former quarterbacks turn wide receivers like Chris Hogan the ball. But there's just something about a black guy who is a quarterback in a gadget play. White quarterbacks don't like to give them the ball. There's something about that. Now, Terrell Pryor, he didn't really play with a good quarterback his entire career, if I believe. He played with Kirk Cousins for a season, maybe. He played on the Browns, and now he's on the Bills. So he's never really played with a good quarterback, in my opinion, in my estimation. So he's never really been in a position for a good quarterback that's on the downhill to contemplate, should I throw him the ball and help him? You know what I'm saying? That type shit. But it's just funny because now Lamar Jackson has the job with the Ravens. He is the starter now, and he's 1-0. He won the game. And now Flacco, yo bitch ass, they're going to probably release you at the end of the season, bruh. They're not paying you the rest of that contract. I'm sure this ain't the last year of the deal. So I hope you was able to save a lot of that money. And I think the reason why you didn't throw the kid the ball is because deep down you knew the kid was more talented than you. That's just what it is. If I'm not threatened by someone, why should I care if I give them the ball? Why would that matter? So the next thing I would like to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, are the Steelers. I gotta be honest, man. This is the most beta male part of the podcast. Well, no, let me take that back. I still gotta talk about Adam Banks. Hold on. I gotta take a sip for that. Steelers. You know, a few years from now, y'all gonna look back at the dumbass nigga cooning y'all was doing, raiding that young brother, Le'Veon Bell's locker. Y'all gonna look back on it and feel like idiots. Number one, Le'Veon Bell is doing something that transcends the game. He is betting on himself, all right? But he's betting on himself in a different way. He is willing to sit out completely for a whole season just to get what he's owed. And then there's people talking about, oh, but he gave up $14 million in doing so. But if he guarantees himself 70, then at the end of the day, yeah, I guess you could say he only gets 56 out of it, but I'd rather have 56 than 14 with an injury in 20. You see what I'm saying? Then it's only 34 to 56. I missed out on 22 now. So it's all about mathematics, all right? And it's all about the lesser of two evils. He knew they were going to run him into the ground, and I don't blame you, Le'Veon Bell. You made the right decision. Fuck them niggas. The minute them O-linemen was talking sideways, you knew something wasn't right. You knew something was a little off. Like, oh, these brothers ain't got my back like I thought they would. Shit, I ain't playing with y'all niggas. And see, they got this new guy, James Conner, and, you know, he got a weirdo fucking haircut, but the dude can ball, all right? I'm not gonna hate on James Conner. He survived cancer the whole 9. But at the end of the day, when the playoffs come, you gonna see James Conner get exposed big time, all right? See, in the regular season, these are like one-off games. This isn't like do-or-die games where people are willing to risk it all. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, y'all. When the playoffs come, this James Conner guy is going to get exposed. And that's when everyone's going to say, if only Le'Veon would have signed. All of a sudden, it's going to be back around about Le'Veon. And Le'Veon just going to be chilling. Like, he's just going to be sipping his tea. You know, y'all didn't have to do that brother's locker like that. Because that says something about your character now. All of y'all got money. First off, all y'all look like broke niggas robbing a nigga that's sitting out to get money. Y'all look broke. That's number one. Number two, that's that hot shit in the streets now. Like if I'm your teammate and if I hold out for something now I'm feeling like you gonna go in my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I say, the dude that you rob niggas with, he probably gonna end up robbing you one day. Unless you keep the wolves fed. That's why they say keep the wolves fed, y'all. That's a street term. Keep the wolves fed. Because the minute you stop feeding the wolves, they gonna turn on you, bruh. You feel me? Then they gonna start showing their fangs to you. You feel me? And you think all the shit you did with them in the past amounts to something, amounts to some type of loyalty. But just like Le'Veon Bell learned, the wolves only care about what they eating today. Fuck yesterday. It's over with. And that's really the saddest part, man. I feel bad for the brother. Like, I really don't feel bad for the brother because I think he's doing something that's gonna affect I think he's doing something that's gonna affect the collective bargaining agreement. I think he's doing something that's gonna affect everything. That might put the players on strike. That might wake up more players to their own rights. Because I stand by this. The franchise tag is really slavery. Like, who are you to tell me that I'm not allowed to go anywhere for a year? Then you slap me with another one. Like, all these one-year deals, see, that could work in basketball because they taken the physicality out the game. So more people can bet on themselves and feel like they won't, I don't know, have some type of a combustive injury. You know, like, that can happen. But in football, bruh, you ain't never promised tomorrow, all right? So I feel like all the people that's hating on Le'Veon Bell, if you ain't a Steelers fan, then you just a dumb fan. You're not well-read enough. You don't understand the rules and regulations, and you don't understand how Pittsburgh is doing this, brother. They treating him like dog shit. And honestly, between me and you, I would love to see Le'Veon go to the Ravens myself. I think Lamar Jackson needs weapons behind him. I mean, look at Dak Prescott. Every young quarterback needs weapons. This is a new era. This isn't the era where you invest in a great defense and then just keep your young quarterback in the game and let him grow through his mistakes. No, you need great players on the quarterback side. That way he can gain confidence by scoring with these guys. That way as he gets older, as you start to pay him and you can't afford a great supporting cast for said quarterback, now he's good enough to rise above it and improve his teammates like he couldn't do before and why he needed better teammates. That type of thing. But my thoughts on this is, Steelers, man, y'all butt hurt, man. That's the type of shit a ex-girlfriend does after you break up with her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna key your car. I'm gonna poke a hole in your tire. You know, I'm gonna spray paint your shoes. You know, it's like, huh? See, by you doing this, you're proving you're not over it. You know? I remember I saw a Facebook video of a brother. I feel bad for him, man. Dude is a truck driver. I was almost a commercial truck driver. So when I hear stories about dudes with their CDL Class A and they got a family of their own and they leave their girl and they pay all the bills and then they girl, she just doing dicks and shit when you ain't around. It's like, man, she has no honor because she doesn't know all the shit you going through. She doesn't, you know? And because she don't have to do any labor like you doing, she just assumes you got free time to be fucking bitches at rest stops. Shit like that. So what does she do? Before she gains any information on this being proven, she goes and fucks a nigga because she assumes this is what you must be doing because that's what she would be doing. Next thing you know, now your entire family's in disarray and you either got to be a simp in order for the kids to grow up with a father at their home, or you got to be a man and say fuck that bitch and have visitation. And you might not get visitation, depending on who your judge is. It's real fucked up, man. I wasn't trying to get too serious, but I'm just telling y'all, man, sports can be used as a symbol to represent anything in life, any type of adversity. You know what I'm saying? That's why sports are amazing. Because once you start hurdling over certain obstacles in sports, you start realizing all the other shit in life, you can take the same approach towards that, and it ain't that difficult. That's why a lot of cats need sports psychologists, you know? But anyway, so now I want to get into, ladies and gentlemen, Dez joining the Saints, tearing his Achilles only 2 days into practice. Is this karma? I got people telling me, oh, Dave, don't be hard on Dez now. Don't call it karma, because if you call it karma, it's almost like you were rooting for him to get hurt. What? I didn't say that. I said it was karma. See, here's my thing, Dez. You had the opportunity, bro. You had the opportunity to play for the Ravens. You had the opportunity to play for the Browns. You had the opportunity to be at a training camp. to get in football shape. Football shape is different from normal shape. And he came in there pretty pudgy as it was in the New Orleans. So, what y'all gotta understand about Dez Bryant is Dez Bryant can't help himself. He's a natural alpha male. But when your talent starts to leave you, you gotta learn to play your role. You can't be the dude that's trying to give everybody orders when you ain't that talented no more. And the thing is, he has tendencies of going to practice and doing too fucking much. So when you were young, you could do too fucking much and you could just wake up and recover immediately. You ain't need no G2 to pop. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, bro, you damn near 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? You out of shape as it is. You don't need to be stressing yourself so crazy. But most likely, as soon as he got signed up, now he's like, man, I got to get in the rush. I got to get in shape, man. We making a Super Bowl run. He got too excited. Should have been taking it baby steps at a time. Your team don't need you yet. They only need you for the playoffs, real talk, because they cooking without you. But instead of taking it slow, instead of treating, when did they sign him? It was like during a bye week, like maybe week 9. Instead of treating weeks 9 through what, 15 as his own training camp preseason to get in shape, he decides to go all guns blazing and pops an Achilles. And it's sad, man, because I'll tell y'all this. There is no bigger Dez Bryant fan than a Cowboys fan. Fuck the bullshit. Just because we can admit it was time to go our separate ways does not mean that we don't have the biggest support for Dez Bryant. So when I see all of these fake ass niggas that never gave a fuck about Dez Bryant his whole career, all of a sudden throw up X's for him. All of a sudden, oh, this is for you, Dez. Prayers up, bro. All this fake fuck nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? This shit happens every season. Someone gets hurt and everyone acts like they care about the player now. You know, I just don't like the fake shit, man. People only started rooting for Dez because he left the Cowboys. People hate my team so much that they will hate a player until he leaves our team, then they'll love him. You know, people only started appreciating Tony Romo after he retired. Until then, he was Tony the choke artist, right? But then once he goes and Dak starts quarterback, and all of a sudden everyone wants to admit, oh, Tony could actually throw a good ball, though. Ah, y'all fuck boys. Y'all are fake. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's who we're dealing with, all right? And at the end of the day, Dez, man, I feel bad for you because I wanted you to get a ring too, brother. I did. But I legitimately did, all right? And honestly, I feel like this is karma for one reason, Dez. The only reason you turned down those teams was because they didn't play us in the schedule. Let's keep it all the way a buck, Dez. You went to the Saints because you knew they were going to play us. So you were planning to get in good shape over the past 3 weeks and be ready after Thanksgiving for our game versus the Saints. You were preparing for that game because you wanted to show us up. You wanted to showboat in our face. You wanted to blow us out 50-7 like the fucking Eagles got blown out. That's what y'all wanted to do. You feel it, dig me? That's what y'all wanted to do. That's what Dez at least intended to do. And see, when you orchestrate stuff based off of revenge, when you go about things based off vengeance, bad things happen. When your intentions aren't pure, then you don't have a purified result. Like, I'm saying some real ass shit tonight as well. I mean, I'm just saying what it is. At the end of the day, Dez, you rep what you sowed there, reaped what you sowed there, because at the end of the day, you couldn't help it but to play against us this season. You couldn't help it. You know, you could have been on a team, you could have been getting numbers, and you could have been setting yourself up for a good payday. Instead, you just wanted revenge. And where does revenge get you? On the fucking injury reserve. It's sad, but it's true. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk about Dak Prescott outplaying Carson Wentz on Sunday Night Football. Any of y'all see that game? All the haters quiet. I told y'all an episode ago, when we hold a team under 24 points a game, we're undefeated. We held the Eagles to what? What did we held them to? Like 20, was it 22? I can't remember what we held them to, but we held them to exactly under 24 points a game. I think we held them to 20, actually. Okay? And then the next week, we beat the Falcons, holding them to 19 points a game. We have an elite defense. I've been saying this for a month now. Now people are starting to see it. Leighton Vander Esch is becoming a household name. Jalen Smith was already a household name. We got Sean Lee, a certified Pro Bowler that can play rotational minutes now, which is great for our overall team because no matter what, we always have a captain on the field. We are moving in a positive trajectory. Now, whether other people would like to admit that or not, that's up to y'all. But I'm just calling it how I see it. And another thing that I noticed is that all the haters are quiet after that game where Dak beat Wentz. Wentz proved me right once again by barely scoring 20 points. Remember in the last episode, remember what I pointed out? Wentz has all of these weapons. He got Alshon Jeffrey. He got Golden Tate now. He got Nelson Aguilar. He got that, I forgot what the tight end's name, Zach something, that Zach Ertz. He got him. You know what I'm saying? And he's got Goddard that they drafted in the second round, which I've already pointed out is the reason why y'all don't have no depth in the secondary, because y'all drafted a fucking tight end. Okay? It's funny. I brought up all this shit before anyone else mentioned it, and then when we blow their doors off, y'all got excuses because y'all don't have depth. Well, next time, don't draft a fucking tight end, bitch. But that's not an excuse. Y'all got y'all ass whipped. And if it's a quarterback's league, and y'all got the better quarterback with far better receiving options than we do, how did y'all lose? Y'all are a defensive team, by the way, let me remind you. How did y'all lose? Because Dak Prescott threw that thing. How did the Falcons lose? Dak Prescott threw that thing. You feel me? So stop the bullshit. Dak can't throw. If Dak can't throw, but he outscoring yo Great White Hope, maybe your Great White Hope ain't that good. They don't want to get there, though. Boy, I'm taking shots. I don't get no fuck, coach. And I was also right in stating that we can't lose when we hold teams under 24 points. But why is Wentz, the #1 overall pick, held to a lower standard than Dak, the 4th round pick? Racism. After we beat Atlanta, Howie Long had the nerve, and you know, he works for Fox, right? Howie Long, and mind you, he's like best friends with that other guy. What was that? Terry Bradshaw, okay? Both of these motherfuckers got some borderline racism in them, all right? So let me point this out. After we beat Atlanta, Howie Long had the nerve to say that Dak wasn't always impressive during the game. What does that even mean? Always impressive. No quarterback is always impressive. But notice how that is something used to categorize a black man. Now anyway, but notice how Howie Long never pointed out the losing team's quarterback not being impressive in Matty DeFrost. Why does Dak get graded on such an unfair scale? Even when he wins, they only focus on what he does wrong. But the white quarterbacks he beats gets no criticism. Don't these media pundits realize the more they shit on Dak, the more it makes the white quarterback they are indirectly defending look worse? Why can't he outscore Dak if Dak is so bad? That's the question they can't answer. That's the question they can't answer. And then you got the Eagles, who play against the Saints. They get blown out by 40. They get the 40 piece, all right? The 40 piece. Carson Wentz couldn't get more than 1 touchdown in the whole fucking game. Trash. Straight trash. And I'm hearing an excuse for it. He's injured. Shut your bitch ass up. I get tired of this shit. Motherfuckers will go to the end of the world to defend a white dude. Look, man. If he's still hurt, why is he putting his team in harm's way? Why is he wasting his team's entire season just to be selfish if he's hurt still? Why ain't he letting Nick Foles play? Because he know Nick Foles is a fucking Super Bowl MVP and he worried about losing his damn job. That's what it is. And y'all are so stupid. Y'all Eagles fans are so spineless. You guys are willing to defend the guy who didn't win you a Super Bowl over the guy who won you the Super Bowl just because. Y'all like Carson Wentz upside more. You guys are fucking idiots. If I had Steve Young as my fucking backup and Joe Montana was playing like shit, I'm playing Steve Young, coach. You got me fucked up. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Y'all are stupid. Now, I'm not saying Nick Foles is Steve Young, but he's a Super Bowl MVP like Steve Young. You feel what I'm saying? Man... Come on, man. It's so funny, though, because even the Eagles fans I'm starting to get to admit that Wentz is overrated on Twitter. If you just type in Carson Wentz overrated on Twitter, you'd be shocked how many tweets fly into that search engine. You'd be shocked. People are turning on this dude, and I'm loving it, because I've been telling y'all this from the get-go. You feel me? But once again, my words don't hold no weight. It takes a white man to say it, too, for y'all to go, you know what? He has a point. And see, I feel bad for Doug Peterson because he might go down as the only head coach in NFL history to be fired the first year right after winning a Super Bowl. I mean, you Eagles fans talking about us Cowboys fans like we got fleeced for trading for Amari Cooper, but y'all the motherfuckers who got fleeced traded for Golden Tate. You not finna make the playoffs and you gave up a 3rd round pick. Y'all dumb as shit, low-key. But y'all talk about Amari Cooper was a waste of a pick. But this motherfucker, with one route, single-handedly tore your best cornerback's ACL with one route. Now, I'm not laughing at the cornerback getting hurt. I'm laughing at the fact that you're saying our wide receiver ain't worth the first. And he's that good with his route running. He is such a fucking polished, cleaning route runner that he can make you tear ligaments if you don't get your ass in position. That by itself is worth the money. That by itself. And now your season is completely over because we got a wide receiver y'all can't think of guarding head-to-head because y'all don't have Ronald Darby. And y'all gave up a third-round pick. Y'all gave up 2 first-rounders to get Wentz. I mean, let's just really spit game. Y'all going to be very talent deprived because of all the picks you've given up for both Wentz and for Tate and that pick y'all used on that tight end. Those picks are going to come back to haunt y'all because in all the places you need depth and all the skill positions on defense, you don't have it. All right? But I just think it's funny, man. You Eagles fans is dumb as shit, but I'm ready to move on because y'all just stupid. Anyway, so Ryan Fitztragic throws 3 more picks and gets benched again for Jameis Winston. Now, here's a Terry Bradshaw update because y'all know me. I watch him very carefully when it's time for a white guy to get benched for a black guy. So, peep game on Terry Bradshaw doing damage control when Fitzpatrick gets benched. Now, mind you, this happened like a day or 2 ago, right? Terry Bradshaw went out of his way to say that Fitzpatrick, he prefaced everything he was about to say about Fitzpatrick throwing those 3 picks to saying, well, he throws a lot of touchdowns and he throws a lot of these. And he let the video clip show the interceptions, but he didn't go out of his way to say he throws a lot of interceptions. See that shit? See that shit? Like, I don't know if this dude smashed his daughter. I don't know what's going on. But he is purposely censoring the negative stuff he has to say about this guy just because he's white. All right? Why was it important for Terry Bradshaw to mention the touchdowns Fitzpatrick throws before mentioning why he got benched? Because he has an inherent bias towards white quarterbacks. If Jameis got benched, he wouldn't mention the touchdowns he's throwing at all. He would just mention how bad he is. You know? Remember, this is the same guy who said Deshaun Jackson was loving the sport of football again because of a bench warmer. Remember that, all right? All right, and the last thing I would like to get into, ladies and gentlemen, with football is the Chiefs and Rams game that was last night. Can we be honest about something, ladies and gentlemen? One of the most rigged piece of shit games I've ever seen. There was countless times where the Chiefs were about to blow them damn doors off, and the referees jumped in and said, hey, hold up now. You know, I mean, I saw a play where this kid, Patty Mahomes, he's running with the ball. He's trying to get the touchdown, but he notices, you know what? I'm going to get cracked if I do this. Let me go ahead and give myself up and slide. He does a baseball slide, and a dude comes in crashing down and gives him a helmet-to-helmet hit. Now, let me ask y'all this question. Whether the contact was incidental or not, whether it wasn't on purpose or not, here's my question. Why was that guy leading with his crown in the first place? Because he knew you can hit black quarterbacks differently than white ones. And why wasn't the referees throwing a flag there? Because they don't want to protect Pat Mahomes because he's a Negro. These are the facts. They would love nothing more than for this kid to be a one-season wonder like Cam was. Because then everything goes back to the status quo. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, these boring fucking quarterbacks are the prototype. And the prototype, the word prototype is such a racist word too. Because it basically says, whatever my preference is for what a quarterback should look like, that's what I'm going to dictate a prototype is in this moment. That's all that means. But let a black guy go out of his way to say, oh, that's a prototypical running back. White folks would get pissed off. Be like, hold up, Christian McCaffrey is doing really good. Shut your bitch ass up. You see what I'm saying? No. That's my point, all right? But yeah, man, that game was so rigged for the Rams to win. Now, let's be real. Mahomes made some mistakes. He threw some picks. But it got to a point where Mahomes was throwing picks. It felt like he was trying to throw the game away on purpose. It felt like he was like, all right, this was the greatest game anyone's ever seen. Mahomes, it's time for you to put the Rams over. Throw another pick. Because he threw 2 inexcusable picks. And they say this man can throw it 100 yards flat-footed. This man barely threw it 40 yards running up for the throw. Something's a little off there. I'm not saying he threw the game on purpose. I'm not gonna put that on. I'm not gonna sully what the brother accomplished last night like that. But you notice, by him losing to the Rams, now the media can start spinning it as if he doesn't deserve MVP. He's a front runner. But when have they ever said this about Steph Curry? When have they ever said Steph was a front runner, so he doesn't deserve MVP now? Never. Whoever front runs usually gets it at all times in other sports. But because this one is a black guy playing quarterback, a position that a lot of people are threatened by, they don't want too many black dudes playing quarterback behind center. So of course, what do? They try to change the narrative as if Drew Brees somehow deserves it more than this kid. This is his first year starting as a quarterback in this league. And he's already, first off, he has more touchdowns thrown than any other quarterback in the league. Are you fucking kidding me? Everyone's talking about how Drew Brees deserves credit for being old and doing well. What about this kid being young and doing well? Don't we understand that it's harder to be young and play well than it is to be older and play well as a quarterback? As a quarterback, you've seen everything. So you're like, oh, okay, I know they're in this base package, then I know I can probably go down this seam. You feel me? Like, quarterbacks think fast like that when they see certain coverages, certain packages, right? But when you're young, you're kind of thinking like you're playing Madden still, right? Kind of, sort of. Not really, but you get my point. You need time. So for this cat to have a better start than Aaron Rodgers did out the gate, and we've all seen Aaron Rodgers start out the gate, it was amazing. It just goes to show this kid is impressive. But they're actually trying to act like his supporting cast should take away from his greatness, as if Drew Brees don't have 2 Pro Bowl running backs, as if Drew Brees doesn't have one of the best wide receivers in pro football, and Drew Brees has a good defense. This kid, Patrick Mahomes, doesn't have a good defense at all. And Drew Brees is relying more on his running game, so he's throwing it a lot less. So how the hell does he deserve MVP? I'm just not getting it. How is he the most valuable if he's allowing his team to carry him? You see what I'm saying? That's that bullshit, man. And this is why I think the referees officiated that game. And see, before the game happened, they went out of their way to say it was a quote-unquote all-star team of referees. Whenever I hear something like that, in my head, I hear a translation. Company men who know how to rig games, but to make it look like it isn't rigged. That's what I look at. That's how I translate all-star team of referees. They don't mean these refs they just officiated the Pro Bowl. They don't mean that. They mean these are the guys we trust the most to get the result we need. That's the truth, though. That's the truth, man. And people tell me all the time, Dave, you shouldn't give any more clout to that rig shit, because doesn't it, in a way, kind of negate and nullify all of the sports that you cover? I'm like, no, it isn't. Because that is me admitting that there is room for growth. You feel it, Damien? That doesn't take away from these dudes going to the weight room every day, getting in tip-top shape. You know, look, it might be rigged to a certain degree, but that doesn't mean every player knows that it's rigged. Some of these players are legit playing for their livelihoods out there. So I'm not going to sully what they're doing. You feel me? But I will call out the bullshit. And have y'all noticed how the majority of referees in all of these sports are Italians? Italians are known for the mafia and the mob. The mob are the ones who are known for doing the most betting on sports. You feel me? I can't help but connect some parallel lines here. What if the reason why all of these referees were Italians was because they're actually linked to the hip to the mob, and they purposely shave the game a certain way to go a certain way to make sure all of these other people in the underworld, in the black market, if you will, cryptocurrency, that type shit, what if they make sure all of these officials are Italian on purpose because they're all company men for a bigger purpose? See, I'm throwing stuff out there. It might not stick, but it's something for you to think about, and that's all that matters. But yeah, so I put a poll up on Twitter, and I basically said, hold on, let me look at this poll real quick, because I think it's very clever, but I don't want to do it the wrong justice by not actually saying it correctly. So here's the poll I put on Twitter, y'all. This shit is pretty funny. All right, this is what I said. I said, if Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff traded places, would this game be a blowout? All right, I gave people 4 answers. I said, no, Goff can carry a team. Yes, Goff is a system quarterback. Maybe refs could rig it, and I don't know, but Mahomes is better than Goff. Now, I want y'all to guess which answer y'all think is the one that the majority of people clicked on. The majority of the one they clicked on was, I don't know, but Mahomes is better than Goff. So that lets, now granted, it wasn't that many votes, but this lets me know that the people see what I see. They see Mahomes as carrying a much worse team, and he's got them playing far above expectations. Whereas Jared Goff looked like a fucking bust before he got his coach. All right? He looked like a bust. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And do you see some of the schemes they be running? They be having like 7 O-linemen blocking for Goff at a time because he has no mobility. You feel me? Like, I be seeing the shit they be doing, man. I'm not really sold on Goff at all, bro. I think he's very overrated. Very. And it's also very suspicious that they canceled the Mexico City game, claiming that the stadium's grass or field wasn't up to snuff, and then suspiciously a wildfire happens, and then this game happens right after the wildfire, and then the game gets rigged for the Rams to win. All those things happen in sequence to the point where I have to admit that I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think they plan to put that in Mexico City at all. That's my first answer. I don't think that was planned to be in Mexico City. I think they wanted that in LA from the get-go, because I think they always planned to create that fire in LA. Because that would lead to what? More viewers, more stakes, more people thinking football is bigger than life. It's a great marketing technique, all right? I'm just too woke for a lot of these sports people, man. I'm telling you, that's why I am the biggest threat to them. Don't let me start making some real money off these podcasts and I can give y'all an episode at, like once a week or something. Oh no, then y'all ain't gonna have no use for none of these channels. Cause I give it to you in a way where, look, I ain't got nothing to hide, man. I'm gonna tell y'all like it is. But at the end of the day though, I can't take nothing away from the game. Even though it did have some rigged moments, it was still one of the best games I've ever seen. So I will give it that credit. But I will stand by what I said in the last episode, ladies and gentlemen. If my Dallas Cowboys get an opportunity to play them LA Rams, we will beat them in the playoffs. I stand by that. And hold me to it, because they have no rush defense, y'all. None. They have no rush defense. Zeke would destroy them. Bro, they got a safety playing linebacker on that team. Like, I'm serious, bro. Really look at that LA Rams linebacking core. It's trash. I'm telling you, man. You gotta have linebackers, man. I would know. I'm a Cowboys fan. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to switch on over to MMA and boxing. On the MMA side of the game, Ben Askren has been traded to the UFC from ONE FC for Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson. Now, this happened right before I released my initial episode on Halloween. But the reason why that I wanted to go ahead and talk about this is because, number one, Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson is probably the best featherweight I've ever seen. Probably the best. Oh, no, he's a flyweight, I think. Isn't he a flyweight? Yeah, he's the best flyweight I've ever seen. But he recently lost to a dude, and they didn't really treat Demetrius Johnson really well. But see, this goes back to my whole point about UFC. They don't treat black fighters well. Even when you're the greatest fighter in your weight class's history, you don't get treated well. Meanwhile, you could be some average run-of-the-mill guy and you get hella sponsors if you white. You get on the cover of UFC if you white. Brock Lesnar was on the cover of a UFC game, and that motherfucker never really beat anyone of substance. He went against Frank Mir, lost. Now, he got his rematch and won, but he still lost to him. Then he went up against Cain Velasquez, and that motherfucker made him quit and go back to wrestling. Now this nigga talking about he wants some smoke with Daniel Cormier. Bro, you need to stick to where you at, bro. Keep doing them wrestling pay-per-views, bro. Keep doing F5s, okay? Because CM Punk, he learned the hard way. You can't come from no wrestling and think you gonna fight no real dogs. Especially when the majority of shit you've been doing, you've been selling punches. Now you gonna get hit with a real one. You don't know how to handle it. Like, oh my God, was it supposed to faint? Looking ass. But, the reason why this Ben Askren trade and Demetrius Johnson trade is such a huge trade is because Ben Askren, I want you guys to actually look up videos on Ben Askren. This is the homework I'm going to give y'all, to all the MMA fans. This guy is one of the greatest wrestlers in mixed martial arts history. He puts fear into a lot of people. He put so much fear into people that Dana White didn't want him at UFC for years. Now, mind you, this guy's like 33 years old, 35 years old now. He's almost past his prime, but Dana White was scared of this guy. He didn't want this guy to fight Conor because he knew he would Khabib Conor before Khabib did. okay? But it seems like now that Conor is starting to get his ass whipped by everybody, you can get a W. You can get a W. You know what I'm saying? Now that he's getting beat by so many people, it feels like Dana White is like, you know what? Let's get rid of this flyweight division. Let's make everyone come up to bantam or maybe feather. Actually, I think it's bantam they're coming up to. And he's trying to have everyone fight T.J. Dillashaw. Well, T.J. Dillashaw says he's willing to come down a weight to defeat the guy who beat Demetrius Johnson. That way he can clean out the division completely after his win. Then he'll have 2 belts. Then he'll come back up to his normal bantamweight. And then he'll force everyone that used to do flyweight to fight up at bantam. So that's what Dillashaw plans on doing. And I actually respect Dillashaw's game. I like him. He can play. Well, he can fight. And I like the fact that he talks that hot shit after he wins too. I like that. I like that from a fighter. I mean, first off, that's half of the game, baby. You gotta market, baby. You feel me? But yeah, so look forward to Ben Askren fighting in the near future. That is a name that will be on one of these pay-per-view cards that will shock y'all, because he will fight someone that y'all think is really good. And I don't know if he's going up to middleweight or not, but this guy is talented, man. Talented. One hell of a wrestler. There's like a YouTube video of him wrestling that dude Chris Weidman, the guy who notoriously beat Anderson Silva twice. I mean, they had a pretty good wrestling match. But yeah, the reason why I'm mentioning that though is because that's something most people won't discuss regarding MMA. We're still trying to figure out what the new fights are going to be in MMA. Derek Lewis did lose to Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier with a nice clinical victory. I was hoping that Derek Lewis wouldn't give his back up, but the way the fight was going, he was going to eventually give his back up regardless, man. There's nothing you could do. Cormier's just a better fighter. Lewis is basically a boxer that's doing UFC. And he took a L. But he'll be around for a while now, though. And like I told y'all what happened, John Bones Jones does plan on fighting Alexander Gustafsson really soon. I believe in January. So that's going to be a good fight, so look out for that. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to discuss boxing. I am excited. 2019 is going to be the year boxing returns to the forefront. Yeah, I said it. Because I have a feeling UFC is going to slowly start falling off because they have less and less people in different weight classes they can rely on. Whereas boxing, they have legit contenders in heavyweight again, which matters a lot because boxing is all about the heavyweight division and it's all about the welterweight division. Because if you got great welterweights and you got good heavyweights, the welterweights can move up to middle, eventually light heavy, and the heavyweights, they will always bring in tons of viewers because they are the pinnacle of every fighter. No one wants to go up to that much weight and fight those guys. There's too much power in each punch. Well, my brother Keith, one-time Thurman, is coming back. I was worried he was going to retire because he had an elbow injury. He had to have elbow surgery for a boxer. Elbow, I mean, come on, that's everything for you. That connects your fist to your shoulder, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's everything to you, especially someone like him who does a lot of left hooks. I'm excited for him coming. Now, he's not really fighting anyone of substance, but at the end of the day, I'm glad he's coming back, though. PBC, Premier Boxing Championships, they just made a deal with Fox. It's going to be really good. In the past, they've done deals with NBC, CBS, so it feels like they're going through a cycle right now. They might go to ABC next, I don't know. But maybe they can't go to ABC because ABC is Top Rank, which is ESPN, Disney. So I'm not sure on that one. But at the end of the day, I'm excited about that. Have you guys heard of a UFC fighter, by the way, named Israel Adesanya? He's known as I think he's known as the Style Bender. I think that's what they call him. Well, this guy recently got slept a week ago in this Chinese mixed martial arts tournament. Some Asian dude slept his ass, and it didn't look too good for him, and that motherfucker was talking that hot shit. So, if any of y'all are hardcore fans of Israel Adesanya, I would take my stock out on him. I wouldn't put more stock into him, because once one guy sleeps you, it's kind of hard to get that swagger back on another platform. Certain people, mainly the hardcore fans of the sport, will know that you got chinks in your armor. But the biggest boxing match that everyone is discussing right now, Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. Errol Spence is the boogeyman of the welterweight division. No one wants to check him. No one wants to check him. He is the Dave Smith of boxing. I mean, no one wants to deal with this guy, all right? Mikey Garcia, to give you all some clarity on Mikey Garcia is basically like a featherweight who came up to junior welterweight, and, you know, he thinks he can take on the biggest welterweight there is. Errol Spence, he's basically a middleweight fighting welterweight. And that's a difference of about maybe 20 pounds right there. Now, some people would argue, well, that just means he has to cut more weight. I mean, that's a disadvantage to him. That shouldn't be something where you should look at it as an advantage. But at the end of the day, after he cuts that bitch, and then he gets the water in him, you know, and he hydrates, that motherfucker's gonna be in a ring at damn near 190 pounds fighting against a 140 pounder. I'm sorry, bruh. You do not want to fight a nigga 50 pounds heavier than you, bro. Damn near. You don't want to deal with that. And that's why everyone is worried for Mikey Garcia. But I salute you, Mikey Garcia, because you took the fight that no one wanted to take. Even Keith Thurman didn't want to take it. But I stand by that he's coming off an injury. He wants a quick tune-up fight. Whereas guys like Sean Porter, he looking kind of scared right now. I'm not going to stunt with y'all. Then you got Terrence Crawford, who actually got into it with Errol Spence at a boxing event, which was actually pretty lit, which I actually want to talk about. Let me take a sip real quick. So, they're at this boxing event, and Errol Spence is so used to people avoiding the smoke, he calls himself Free Smoke Jr. So, like, if you ever hear someone say, man, Free Smoke Jr. whooping people ass, that's Errol Spence Jr. Well, anyway, so Free Smoke, he shows up to a top rank event, and he's a premier boxing champion boxer. So, you know, he shows up to an event that I believe Bob Arum is throwing, or is it Al Heyman? I think it's Bob Arum, because I think Al Heyman, I think he's PBC. I can't remember. It's all these different promoters' names and shit. Well, anyway, he shows up to this top ranked boxing thing, and I guess he didn't expect this dude Crawford to FaceTime him and look where he is at in the stadium and go and meet up with him. And so they do this video, they talking, they trash talking and shit. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. Everyone talks about this Crawford cat like he's the one. Crawford, if you fight Spence anytime soon, you will lose your entire buzz, bruh. And I think ESPN is smart enough not to put you in a ring with that guy. They gonna keep putting you in the ring with bums. And I actually like Crawford. I like Bud Crawford. I think he got some game to him. Now, like I told y'all, my favorite fighter is Keith Thurman. It's something about the way Keith Thurman fights that's just different. You know, the way he goes after, like, hooks. I just like the hook game of the fight game. To me, the hook is the best shot you can hit a guy with. Because the hook, you gotta go around their fist to hit them with it. You see what I'm saying? So it takes a lot more follow through, in my opinion. Now the uppercut is similar. You got to go under though. But yeah, I really like people that are really good at hook shots. But at the end of the day, man, I think boxing is great right now. I mean, Sean Porter's got a fight coming up. There's a lot of fights coming up. And of course, you notice the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. That's another reason why I wanted to drop this podcast before December 1st, because that fight is on December 1st. That's going to be an incredible fight, man. I think that fight on its own, and Deontay Wilder is a PBC fighter as well, I think that fight on its own is going to bring boxing back. You know, and Anthony Joshua, I'm going to say this one more time. Yo bitch ass cannot run much longer. You can't keep running. Because when Wilder beats Fury, after already beating King Kong Ortiz, people going to be looking at you like you bitch made. Don't be out here chasing Usyk around just because Usyk is a fucking cruiserweight. Don't be chasing Usyk when he's got to get some fights under his belt at heavyweight first. Don't be one of those bums. Go and fight a real heavyweight. Oh, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. No, you're a fucking coward. You'd rather fight a 6'3" guy that's coming up in weight 30 pounds than a guy who's naturally at that weight and that's your height. That's that bitch made shit, man. Like, for real. And I can see Anthony Joshua saying, I want to fight Dillian White again. No one wants to see that bullshit. Nobody. Even Dillian White's talking about it. Oh, Usyk, he gonna have a rude awakening. He come up to heavyweight. Yeah, that sound like that nice hot shit. But let's be real, White. You cherry-picked on Parker. You feel me? You ain't had a heart to fight Parker until after AJ beat him. You see what I'm saying? So, there's a lot of cherry-picking happening in boxing. And really, that's the only negative side of it besides the judges being corrupt. It's really the only negative side to boxing. Okay? If they can shore up those two things, I promise y'all, boxing will be back. We will have another fight night game. And honestly, I'm tired of these UFC games. I don't know about y'all, but these UFC games are trash. They're so trash, they had to create a knockout mode just so the boxing fans could play it. Like, that's how trash it is. But anyway, now let's jump into the NBA talk. Let's jump into it. You feel me? Shout outs to all of you who have waited this long to hear me go in. It's finna be a great one. Woo. I'm gonna try my best to not make this episode 3 hours long, because I just realized that MMA boxing and NFL took me that long. Shit. Hold on, let me take... The next thing I want to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, are we sure Jamal Murray isn't the next Brandon Roy? I mean, I just gotta ask this question. This motherfucker can hoop, man. Man, Jamal Murray's game, bro. I'm seeing a reincarnation of Brandon Roy, man. I'm seeing it, man. And you got Kyrie bitch made it. Just not running up the score, bro. Shut your bitch ass up, Kyrie. How about you check this nigga and keep him from scoring 48? Now, I know a lot of people in the media are saying this, but I'm a huge Jamal Murray fan, okay? And I was the guy who, for the longest, that said Kyrie was a weak link on their Cavs, even though it was really Kevin Love the most. But still, Kyrie was also a weak link. I mean, when you really look back at it, Kyrie and Kevin Love are both defensive liabilities. And LeBron somehow won a title with them two and JR playing meaningful minutes. That's incredible, man. Every time I still can't believe this shit. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, so... Kyrie gets butthurt because Jamal Murray shot a last-second shot at the buzzer to try to score 50 points. And it's like Kyrie, man, chill, bro. Like, you lost the game. Instead of being mad about that, because you the motherfucker going to the media and say, we need another veteran on our team. Like, bro, you don't need another veteran. You got veterans. What are you talking about? But Kyrie, weren't you the guy who left LeBron because, and I quote, the team was built for LeBron and it had too many veterans? See this shit? See how fake Kyrie is? Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland because he didn't want to play with a whole bunch of veterans. Now he gets to Boston, is forced to lead, and now he says we need veteran help to lead. So in other words, you wish you had LeBron on the Celtics. Basically. But you don't want to have LeBron because then you won't get the credit. So it's like, okay, do you want the credit and lose, or do you want to not have the credit and win? You got to make this decision for yourself, Kyrie, because you ain't winning shit in Boston. Not as long as Gordon Hayward keeps getting these white privilege 30 minutes a game. That motherfucker is, man, he's falling off a cliff. And I feel bad for Jason Tatum because people are looking at Jason Tatum like he fell off. This motherfucker is sharing shots with a guy that ain't the same. Gordon Hayward ain't the same, bro. Now, when it come to Donovan Mitchell, now that nigga fell off. I'll tell y'all straight up, that mother. But see, I never thought he was that good, though. Like, I think we have tendencies to overrate the small guard. We have tendencies to do that. And last year, I saw so many pundits act like Donovan Mitchell was a better player than Ben Simmons. And it was shocking to me. Shocking. Like, he's not the better player, bro. These motherfuckers just lost by... What, 50 points the other day to the Dallas Mavericks? How the fuck you lose by 50 to the Dallas Mavericks? Are you serious? And by the way, have y'all seen DeAndre Jordan? This motherfucker's free throws and got much better. And it's funny, I was watching the game. I think this was Clippers. No. I think this was Spurs versus, not Spurs. I think this was Mavericks versus Golden State. And they said the way they got DeAndre Jordan's free throws to get better was... before he shoots every free throw, he has a conversation with someone. Even if the conversation doesn't make sense, he just says something to someone right before he shoots, and it takes his mind off the shot. I was like, oh, this is ingenious. We need to get LeBron to have more conversations. Shit. Nah, I ain't gonna come at LeBron, though. That motherfucker dropping 40s and 50 pieces. But, it's funny, I was just about to mention LeBron smashing Beyonce. So, a report comes out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is allegedly. I guess LeBron's mama, you know, she a Rolling Stone. Supposedly she was fucking with some dude, and she was gonna get married to this guy, but they called it off, and they were, you know, fiancés and stuff. So this guy comes out and he says, I'm threatening to go public and tell the entire world the truth. The reason why Savannah didn't invite Beyonce to LeBron and Savannah's wedding is because LeBron has been secretly smashing Beyonce this whole time. And everyone knows about it except the public. Something like that. And honestly, I can believe it because my most successful tweet on Twitter to this day is the tweet, where LeBron blocked Steph Curry's shot, his layup in the NBA Finals, and he yells and he says something to him and he walks away. Well, I captioned that by saying Beyonce came to see me play, nigga. And that shit still has like tons of retweets and tons of likes. So I think there's some truth to this because of how viral that tweet went. It was almost like, is this an inside joke that I just played into and didn't realize it? So looking back on that tweet, it's kind of ominous now. But I can believe it because Jay-Z, every time I look at Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship, it doesn't look like real love to me. It don't. I'm sorry, bruh. The only real part of their love life is their daughter that looks just like both of them. Outside of that, though, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I'm not seeing no real romanticism between the two of them. And honestly, I could believe it because Jay-Z for the longest was always looking out for LeBron, you know, and he probably would love to. Now, some people are cucks, man. Some people want another nigga to bang out their wife. I can't relate to it. I can't explain it, but this is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so do I believe the rumor a bit? Yes. Would Beyonce's fans, would this make them like LeBron anymore? Probably not, because the majority of Beyonce's fans hate LeBron. So this creates a weird, torn feeling for them emotionally. They don't know if whether their girl's a hoe or not now. But see, here's the thing, though. I'm just going to throw this out there. This is just me, you know, using my Recency Bias Radio mind. What if Beyonce found out Jay-Z cheated on her with Becky with the good hair, who I found out, by the way, was Damon Dash's ex-wife, by the way, showing that Jay-Z would be dirty macking in these streets. Damn, bro, you gonna fuck Dame Dash's ex-wife? No wonder why Dame Dash don't rock with you no more. But of course, Dame Dash would probably chalk it off to Leor Cohen being a fucking culture vulture, whatever. But anyway, to get back to my point, though, I definitely think that Beyonce probably told this motherfucker Jay-Z, look, you cheated on me first. We're getting a public divorce for everyone to see if you don't let me get dicked down by the king. And that's why I went on Facebook and said, Queen wants some king. Hey, man. Look, man. If this is true, then LeBron is definitely the GOAT. Because Michael Jordan wasn't piping Halle Berry in the 90s. You feel what I'm saying? Michael Jordan didn't have the swagger to pipe the baddest black chick in the game at the time. He just didn't. All right? That's just facts. You know? But next thing I would like to discuss is Tyson Chandler going to the Lakers, and what does that mean for their playoff chances? In the last episode, I went out on my way to basically say, I don't see the Lakers making the playoffs. And honestly, I don't see them making the playoffs. Still to this day. They lost to the Magic, then they beat the Heat, and LeBron dropped 50. LeBron was, he was motivated to drop 50 against the Heat, but that's a one-off game. I don't see this Lakers team making the playoffs still, unless they make a trade somehow to get Anthony Davis. I just don't see it. And you guys got to hear me out here. Rondo just broke his hand again. He's going to be out for a month. LeBron James teams are notoriously known for taking January off as a month. Now, in all those times where January was really bad for LeBron James's teams, he happened to be in cold weather cities. Would this change if he's in California dealing with this 70-degree weather in January? I don't know. But his team seemed to hit a wall around January. And here's my question. LeBron drops 40 and drops 50 after a few weeks of playing pretty bad for his standards. This does nothing but make even more of the haters think that he's on HGH. I'm being honest with y'all here, okay? Because the way he goes from being this non-dominant to all of a sudden being dominant again, it looks crazy. Like, he has spikes that don't really make sense. That should have been in him from day one, in theory. But I think he's pacing himself. I don't really believe all of the stories of HGH and all that other shit. But that does make you want to beg the question. Does his team struggle in January because he's not on that stuff in January? Is that the time where he always has to re-up? I don't know. But for him to drop 50 in Miami, the place that was known to have the huge HGH ring, definitely makes it seem like that there's a little legitimacy there. I don't want to really give it any more than that, so I'm just going to say allegedly. But at the end of the day, though, I still support LeBron James, the human being, because of all that he is doing in society. He is someone who should be commended for that. But once again, I don't think the Lakers are making it. I don't think they're making it to the playoffs, man. Because when you look at these... Hold on, let me look at the standings real quick to provide some clarity here. Hold on, Western Conference standings. All right, I'm looking at these Western Conference standings, ladies and gentlemen. I hate it when the typo stuff happens, when you're trying to like search up stuff at the last second. All right, the #1 team in the West right now, ladies and gentlemen, is my Portland Trail Blazers. Shout outs to them. Let's get it. Rip City, stand up. You feel me? We here, baby. And see, styles make fights. The Lakers beat us the other night, but they needed to start like 5, 6, 7 dudes to beat us. You know what I'm saying? That's styles, man. But as the season moves along, though, you know, the Lakers ain't gonna get away with starting that many tall guys on one team. They gonna get their doors blown off doing that dumb shit. But for whatever reason, my phone just froze. Hold up. This shit tripping. All right, now I'm looking at the standings. Okay, so right now, currently, the LA Lakers are an 8th seed. But I want y'all to take into account what are the seeds. Portland is 1st. Memphis is 2nd. Clippers are 3rd. They each have a 3-way tie at 11-5. Then you have the 12-6 Warriors, who I will get into in a second. OKC at 10-6. Denver at 10-7. New Orleans at 10-7. Lakers at 9-7. Now, here's the thing. The teams that are out of the playoffs currently as of today, look at all of these good teams. Houston, 8-7. Sacramento, 9-8. San Antonio, 8-8. Utah, 8-9. Minnesota, 7-10. Dallas, 7-9. Now, Phoenix, we can chalk them off. They're not making the playoffs. But that means 14 out of 15 teams. Yeah, so 14 out of 15 teams in the West all have a chance of making the playoffs, okay? Do y'all really think the Lakers can outpace Houston, San Antonio, and Utah to keep that 8th spot? And what team below the Lakers do you see getting out of it? The only team I can see falling out of this race is New Orleans if they trade Anthony Davis soon to the Lakers. But that's really the only way the Lakers leapfrog New Orleans, in my opinion. That's really the only way. Denver have a legit good team. OKC has a legit good team. Golden State, legit good team. Memphis, legit good team. Portland, legit good team. The Clippers, surprisingly legit good team. Who do the Lakers leapfrog? Okay? And this is a long schedule here. You guys really are going to rely on a whole bunch of youngins, man? I don't know, man. Look, I'm not trying to overtly hate on the Lakers. I would give them credit for being 9-7 because there was a point where, what was these guys' record? Like 3-6 or something? I can't remember what their record was at one point. But they've been winning games. But understand that the games that they're winning, they have to win. They're the Eastern Conference games. But those games, like the ones they lost against the Magic, they'll hurt them down the road. Mark my words, they'll hurt them down the road. Because teams like Houston and San Antonio, they're not going to lose those games. All right? So, look, man, it's a battle of attrition. This is the Hunger Games, all right? I had a conversation with my homeboy Denzel Thomas the other day. I was telling him, I said, look, man, I don't see the Lakers making the playoffs. I don't think they have the horses to last 82 games. Now, the Lakers said that their approach is we're going to take it 10 games at a time. Yeah, that sounds all nice and hot, but at the end of the day, though, the teams you competing with in the Western Conference taking it a game at a time. You feel what I'm saying? Because they know every game is a playoff game, basically. Especially a Western Conference game. So, I don't know, man. I just don't see the Lakers making the playoffs, man. And if they do, I was wrong. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not just going to say they're going to do it because LeBron's on their team this year. I think it would behoove them not to make it, honestly. Because maybe they could put a first-round pick together with a better package to get an even better player. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. Congratulations to the GOAT, LeBron James, for passing Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list. And he did it against my Blazers. And whenever the Lakers play the Blazers, I mean, we've had 3 games in the first, 3 weeks of the season. It's pretty crazy, right? We only got 1 more game the rest of the season. But I call it the Smitty Bowl. the RBR Bowl whenever I see the Lakers versus Blazers, because those are the two teams. Well, at the end of the day, I call it the Smitty Bowl because it's LeBron versus my favorite team. And this is the first time I can honestly say LeBron isn't on my favorite team since he wasn't in the league. You know what I'm saying? And I got other favorite players that I value above LeBron all time in terms of like my favorite growing up. And see, that's why I hold Jalen Rose to such a high regard. And that's why I'm so shocked by Jalen Rose's hate for LeBron. You know, it's like, what the fuck is this shit, coach? You know? And it's crazy because when I see Jalen Rose shit on LeBron James, and then I look at Jalen Rose's skeletons in his closet, the way that he basically sold his soul to Disney and ESPN just to create a Fab Five documentary that didn't include Chris Webber, who by far is the most important person to include in a documentary of that. And then you just speak on Chris Webber's behalf. You call him scared. You say he doesn't want to show up here or want to show up there. I was watching a Chris Webber video and he was talking about, man, hey, man, there was legit beef between me and that dude because I felt like he was just doing stupid shit to troll me that just didn't make sense, you know? And they have a legit fractured relationship. So, to me, I feel like Jalen Rose has even less of a platform to stand on when he's criticizing LeBron because at the end of the day, LeBron is the one person who has always kept his childhood friends where? Close. He's always done what? Remain loyal. He's put those brothers in school. He's put them brothers in position to rise as heroes, right? Whereas when you look at Jalen Rose, what has he done to any of his childhood friends besides throw them under the bus for a check? So that's something maybe you need to think about sometime, Jalen Rose. Maybe you need to take some pages out of LeBron's book instead of trying to nitpick on what he doesn't do that well. When, let's be honest, he does everything better than you do. So I don't know how you can be the one to throw stones at him when you clearly are a flawed human being too, and your wife is probably the most annoying host in the history of First Take. But that's neither here nor there. Now let's move on. I think LeBron... I think him dropping 50 on the Heat, dropping 44 against the Blazers, I think he's doing this in the midst of all of Golden State's chaos on purpose. I think he is trying to show KD that not only where he needs to go after Golden State, the Lakers, but he's also trying to show KD that if he doesn't come, his legacy will get even more shitted on because he won't win a title without LeBron or Golden State. And see, that's the funny thing, because the narrative on KD ever since that Draymond, and I'm gonna get into that, but have y'all noticed the narrative on KD has changed? Now all of a sudden it's KD can't win a ring without Steph, even though Steph doesn't have any finals MVPs and KD has 2 of them. The narrative is almost flipped, and Steph has almost reaped all of the benefits from this fight without having to be involved in it, because now everyone looks at Golden State's troubles and go, wow, they're not the same team without Steph. So it almost makes Steph look more valuable while he's injured than KD is when he's healthy. It's crazy, man. But I'm gonna get into more of that in a second. But yeah, I definitely think KD is in a no-win situation now, because at the end of the day, by going to Golden State, you show how soft you were mentally. You win 2 championships, about to win probably 3 in a row with these guys, but no one will ever give you the credit. It's like I say, your rings are welfare rings. They don't hold weight. Right? You didn't earn them like everyone else earned them, right? And when your teammate tells you that, it's gotta hurt even more. Cause this is a nigga that called you up crying from the parking lot, and your bitch ass picked up like it's Brokeback Mountain. So it looked even worse. But yeah, so at the end of the day, KD, man, I'm gonna get into you in a second, but J.R. Smith is demanding a trade. Something tells me this motherfucker wants to play for the Lakers, but that shit ain't finna fly. LeBron like, we ain't finna give up that much cap room. Y'all got us fucked up. Hey, J.R., make them niggas, make them buy you out. We'll think about it. Type shit. You can get them Caldwell Pope minutes. But it's funny, there's a lot of veterans on the Cavaliers that are said to be shading Colin Sexton, and they don't think he understands basketball, which is funny. How do you draft a guy that high and he doesn't understand basketball and he's a point guard? That's pretty crazy to me. Like, that's like a very offlandish statement to make, which makes me think they're only making these statements to force the owner's hand, Dan Gilbert, to trade them. It's like, oh, I can't have them fucking up with my soon-to-be future players' well-being, because a lot of people don't know this, but when LeBron was drafted, he had a lot of problems with Ricky Davis. Y'all know the motherfucker that looked like Andre 3000 back in the day. LeBron had problems with dude because Ricky Davis kept trying to punk him. Like, you know, he kept trying to treat him like dog shit. And LeBron, I'm gonna keep it a spade. I'm gonna keep it all the way $150 with y'all. LeBron, back in those days, he was soft. He wasn't trying to challenge no grown-ass man to shit. And that's why they had to get rid of Ricky Davis. That way LeBron could start growing into a leader. But see, I can admit that while also saying this is a very common thing in the NBA. People forget. They had to trade away Monte Ellis in order for Steph Curry to grow into who he is now. And he still ain't a fucking leader. But they still needed to get rid of Monte Ellis for Steph to feel like he could become one. So this is a necessary growth spurt for most players that are built around. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to discuss Melo being released by the Houston Rockets. Oh, man. So I've done a little digging here, ladies and gentlemen. This is deeper than it seems on the surface. I've been watching Stephon Marbury videos. He's been describing D'Antoni's entire body language when he doesn't like you anymore and when he wants you to go. He does certain things like not letting you get dressed for games. He'll tell you to your face he has no plans of ever playing you. You know, he does little shit to make you want to quit on the team. That way you look like the cancer and not him. Well, anyway, so what I done in my digging is, it turns out that, you know, that defensive coordinator that everyone talks about that had Houston playing such great D last year? Well, that guy retired, right? But it turns out the only reason why he retired was because he found out that Houston was getting Melo. Ooh, this is when this story gets really juicy, guys. So it turns out Jeff Bzdelik was Melo's assistant coach in Denver when he was a rookie. And they didn't like each other then. He also was the defensive coordinator of the Rockets last year that went to the Western Conference Finals. So it's no coincidence that he's coming back to the team only after Melo was let go. Because think about this, who retires and then comes back as soon as Melo gets released? Something's a little off about that, right? Then all of a sudden the Rockets blow out Golden State like they didn't miss a beat. Something's really weird here. And my thing is, I shouldn't have to need a defensive coach to play good defense. That lets me know all the players on the team were kind of buying into making Melo the scapegoat, which makes me kind of want to look at Chris Paul a little differently now. If I'm Melo, Chris Paul ain't really my mans, because he's supposed to be a co-captain, and he kind of basically was all in on getting me scapegoated. I'm not a fan of that. And if I'm Melo, honestly, that could ruin a friendship, because I think Chris Paul definitely was aware of what was going on with Jeff Bzdelik. I think he was aware. So that's not fair to Melo, man. So basically, Melo voluntarily signed to a team that had two coaches that he had beef with just to pursue a championship. And I feel like if this story were worded the way that I just did, it wouldn't have the same negativity surrounding Melo as a player, right? People will go, oh man, he's willing to work with people he can't stand to win. That's a real winner there. That's someone who really wants to win a title. That's someone who's hungry. But when you change the story around and make it seem like Bzdelik just retired on his own accord, like he didn't have no problem with Melo, then you make it seem like D'Antoni forgave Melo for all of his past transgressions in New York, and he let it be a clean slate, but Melo just wasn't up to sniff. You paint the light as if Melo was the problem. But in reality, you had two men who made up their minds that Melo was going to be a problem. And someone also pointed something out to me. Are you guys aware that James Harden has had hamstring issues all season so far? So maybe this was a built-in excuse to sign Melo just because James Harden wasn't healthy to start off training camp. See, hey man, all of these things fall right in line with the excuses that I think the media are providing to allow another white man to get off clean for treating a black man like shit. And I'm just being honest, man. You know, and when you think about it, people wouldn't see Melo as a cancer at all if they looked at him as someone who was hungry just to win a championship. He was always going to be the fall guy, though, because the defensive coordinator made the front office choose between him and Melo. And D'Antoni probably wanted some petty revenge against Melo, and he probably agreed to signing Melo to let Bzdelik go because he knew they could always get Bzdelik back. So he probably only did this to ruin what's left of Melo's career and blackball him, which is currently happening. The only teams that are being spoken of that are even considering signing Melo are the Lakers because of the link to LeBron, the Philadelphia 76ers because they say that they need a veteran, but they just got Jimmy Butler, so I don't get that. But my opinion is, I think the Blazers should go ahead and sign Melo. I think he fits into the perimeter style offense that they play. I think off the bench, Melo could have Evan Turner bringing the ball up for him. Evan Turner gets the ball to Melo. Melo is allowed a lot of spacing off the bench. You got Zach Collins at center. Zach Collins can shoot that spacing. You got Melo off the bench. But see, it comes down to, is he hungry enough to come off the bench every day though? Because if Melo comes off the bench and he's playing with Zach Collins and he's the 4-man, right? Then you got Stauskas spacing the floor over here. You got Seth Curry spacing the floor over there. You got Zach Collins as a center spacing the floor really well for a big. To me, our bench is almost built for Melo to shine with. But the thing is, though, Melo has to make up his mind that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And that's not me trying to feed and cater to the stigma of him, but to a certain degree, he doesn't want to come off the bench. And that's the one part he needs to change. All right? That's the only thing he needs to change. And honestly, Dame and CJ, they ain't going for that bullshit, Melo. And you notice, Dame and CJ was the two main motherfuckers defending you on Twitter. That was them campaigning for you. They was trying to show you, like, hey, man, if you come this way, we'll have you back. So, at the end of the day, yeah, that's how I feel. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into why you're here, baby. Let's get into the Welvin the Great and Adam Banks beef. Let's get it. Banger, banger, banger. Let me take a sip, though. Woo. You done fucked up. You know you fucked up, KD. He know he done fucked up. This man gave me all of the ammunition I needed to drop before Thanksgiving. He gave me everything. But you know what? Before that, let's talk about Jimmy Butler to the 76ers real quick. I want to make sure this KD shit is the last thing I'll talk about. So you got the whole Jimmy Butler to the 76ers trade. What I don't get is, from the Timberwolves perspective, why would you trade? Why would you decide 4 first-round picks from Houston wasn't good enough? But Dario Saric and Robert Covington is. I just think if you're going to get something for Jimmy Butler, you want something that is organization shifting. And I'm not saying Dario Saric is a bum, because I love Dario Saric's game. I think he's the next Hedo Turkoglu. I think Robert Covington is a very serviceable starter in this league. And these days, you need a 3-and-D guy. Now, his 3 can be a lot better, but you already see what Tibbs is doing with Covington. He's the new Jimmy Butler. He had that motherfucker playing like 45 minutes the other day. The first game he came there, he playing 45 minutes. He never gonna sub that man out. He gonna run him into the ground, man. He gonna rub him into the ground. But that's another reason why I would say don't sleep on Covington getting much better now. I mean, you saw Andrew Wiggins. He out here posterizing niggas on the Pelicans. I saw this man kick Mirotic in the nuts and dunk on him at the same. I'm like, damn, where was this shit? And that was when Jeff Van Gundy came out and said, why can't this guy do this every game? Like, where did that come from? I agree with you, Jeff. Where did that shit come from? You know? But I don't know, man. But it's like I told y'all, though, Wiggins would play much better the minute he is allowed to play a little bit of 2-guard instead of the 3. He's not a legit 3. And now with Covington there, what is he playing? The 2. So you're now going to see Andrew Wiggins putting up some good numbers. So I'm looking forward to that. But at the end of the day, I think the T-Wolves made a huge mistake not taking those 4 first-round picks. I think they made a huge mistake. And here's my question to you all in the comment section. Do you think if the Rockets traded for Jimmy Butler, do you think they would have still blamed Melo as a scapegoat? Or do you think they would have rode it out with him? Because now it's like, oh, wait a minute. We got a team now. That's a great question. And I kind of think it's kind of convenient for them to get rid of Melo during all of this KD Golden State drama. It's almost like they wanted to do it and then disappear into thin air again. And they succeeded. But, you know, it feels like the only reason why the Timberwolves did not make that deal for those 4 first-round picks is because they are doing what most teams do in this era of basketball. really throughout all of basketball history, teams do not like trading to teams in their conference. They don't want to see that nigga come back and shit on them 4 times a year. They'll deal with 2 times. But 4, nah, B, I'm cool on that. And that's why they traded Jimmy Butler to Philly, most likely. But I just feel like if it means that you're worse off in the long run, you might as well go ahead and make the deal that makes you better off in the long run, even if it means in the short term that he's going to beat your ass. They was going to beat your ass anyway, probably. But I'd rather have 4 first-round picks to make me feel better when I go to sleep at night. You feel it, dig me? So, I don't know, man. And me personally, I stand by this. I think the Philadelphia 76ers made a huge mistake. They should have traded that kid Markelle Fultz. They should have traded him for Kemba Walker straight up. And there's people saying, why would the Hornets do that? That's their star player. Because the Hornets ain't paying Kemba the Supermax. They're not paying him the Supermax after this season. So they're going to let him walk anyway. So why not trade him for a young piece that you can actually build around? Jordan will actually have the patience with Fultz. Hell, Jordan might try to train Fultz up himself, just to make sure that this kid balls. So you feel me? My point is, I think Fultz needs a new change of location because he is certified bust at this point. He has the yips. He needs to change the scenery. And in the same light, I think Kemba deserves to be on a team like Philly because their fans are very intelligent. At least their basketball fans are. But I'm shitting on people tonight. But at the end of the day, their basketball fans are very intelligent, and I would have loved to see Kemba play in the house that Iverson built. I would have loved to see it. And personally, people say Ben Simmons is going to handle the ball all the time. Why would you want a small guard? Because every big guard needs a small guard. It's about matchups. LeBron James needed Kyrie Irving. LeBron James needed Dwayne Wade. All right? To a certain degree, LeBron needed Mario Chalmers. People forget, Mario Chalmers dropped 25 on Adam Banks in the 2012 finals. People forget that. In one game. I'm not talking about over a series. In one game, Mario Chalmers dropped 25 on KD. Because KD stopped guarding LeBron because he was getting in foul trouble. So they switched him, put him on Chalmers, and Chalmers lit his ass up. See, I got a crazy basketball memory. That's why when people try to debate me and I bring up something like, that didn't happen, and I provide a link, and they go, oh, that's not factual. And then that's when they get butthurt, because now it's like, damn, he already took an L, basically. But yeah, so LeBron is the pinnacle of this archetype of a point forward, and even he needed a small guard. So how the hell can y'all tell me that Ben Simmons don't need a small guard? Oh, because he got to develop, Dave. There's not much that he needs to develop besides a fucking jumper. And I'm going to be honest, if he don't get a small guard that is a threat on offense, everyone's going to sink into the paint anyway. They're going to let T.J. McConnell shoot them threes, Landry Shamet, all of these unproven niggas that never been to the fucking playoffs and done anything. Well, T.J. McConnell did something in the playoffs, but you get my point. Kemba would have been a straight up dog in the playoffs. And Kemba does what, ladies and gentlemen? He forces Kyrie Irving to play defense. If they play the Celtics, he forces Kyle Lowry to play defense if they play the Raptors. Now, if the Philadelphia 76ers play any of those teams, Kyle Lowry can rest on D. Kyrie Irving can rest on D. None of these dudes have to play D. None of them. Like, really think about it. By not getting Kemba Walker, you have allowed Kyle Lowry and Kyrie Irving, and to a certain degree, Eric Bledsoe, to run rampant in the playoffs. Because you didn't want to get a guard that had to keep them honest. And honestly, I'd rather have a team with Covington, Saric, and Kemba still on it than get rid of those 2 guys and just add Jimmy. Jimmy's a fucking locker room cancer. Like, I'm tired of people overrating this guy's game. And y'all gonna see what I see? Because shit ain't gonna be all guns, shit ain't gonna be all roses when the playoffs come. Jimmy gonna start placing blame on others because that's what he always does when things go wrong. He always does it, man. And also, let me add that Kemba is younger than Jimmy by a year, so that would at least given you an extra year of a title window to pursue. But that's neither here nor there. All right? So now's the time to get into Adam Banks and Welvin the Great. So they get into this argument versus the Clippers, which essentially stemmed from the fact that Draymond dribbled the ball after a rebound. He dribbled it with like 8 seconds left. He dribbles it into a crowd of people, loses the ball. My opinion on it is Draymond made the right decision. Because if KD dribbles up with it, he gets double teamed immediately. He passes it away, probably to Draymond, and asks for it right back. Draymond was trying to drive and kick. Difference is, Montrezl Harrell had his card the entire game. He was punking Draymond. So I think Draymond, on one hand, he's making the right play, but on the other hand, mentally, he's making the wrong play because he's trying to get even with Harrell by shitting on him with the ball. And those contributed to the turnover. But my problem with KD is he ain't had a heart to just walk up to Draymond and say, hey, man, I need the ball. He literally ran to every other player on the team and said, why didn't you give me the ball like a little bitch? Go to the dude himself. Then when y'all sitting on the bench, then you finally say it in passing like, you could have gave me the ball though, bro. And by that time, Draymond ain't trying to hear that shit because now your mind should be off that shit. It's time for overtime, my nigga. Let's think about the next play now. But KD's so butthurt about that one little play. And see, my problem with KD is simple. You had the opportunity shortly after that. I think it was against the Mavericks. Was it the Mavericks? It was the Mavericks. He had an opportunity with the ball with a few seconds left to hit the fadeaway shot to win the fucking game with Harrison Barnes on him, the guy he replaced at Golden State. So he had more than enough incentive to show out on that motherfucker and prove Draymond should have just given me the ball. What did KD do? He missed the shot. You know, there's a statistic going around that KD is 1 of 17 from the three-point arc ever since him and Draymond got into that little back and forth. This is proof he's mentally weak. Like, they say KD is a guy who can get buckets in his sleep. I'm not seeing it, all right? And see, allegedly, Draymond, during this entire back and forth, he brings up KD's free agency during the scuffle, and then they suspend Draymond for a game, which had to have been the worst way to handle it because that made it even more of a big deal. If you don't suspend them, we maybe forget. We weren't going to forget. Come on, we NBA Twitter. But we would have at least been like, you know, they'll be fine. They still going to win the title. But by suspending Draymond, then he come back and he don't apologize for shit. It's like, y'all done fucked up here, Golden State. Because, see, I've been telling people this from the get-go. Draymond is the leader of this team. Nobody checks Draymond. You know, there's reports going out that there were several Warriors players that confronted Draymond in the locker room. Where was them niggas at on the floor when he was shitting on KD? None of them had KDs back then when the cameras was watching because no one wanted that smoke. They know the chain of command at Golden State. It's Draymond. Draymond the only motherfucker that could curse Steve Kerr out and said, I'm gonna beat your ass. He the only nigga that can say that. Everybody else, no, they gonna get reprimanded fast. Draymond can say whatever. But you notice though, Draymond is hard on certain guys, but he's never this hard on Stephanie. And it's because Draymond knows Stephanie is being coddled and protected. He knows Stephanie is weak, but he also knows Stephanie was there with him to win that first ring. He has a connection to Stephanie he will never have with KD, which brings me back to my initial argument with Adam Banks. You joined up with a bunch of niggas that ain't your homies, and now you're worried and confused why these niggas don't look at you as their homie. They look at you as a mercenary. You've never been one of them. And see, people can say whatever they want about LeBron, but LeBron never got the game fucked up. He never got him mistaken. This is a business relationship here in Miami. Yeah, Dwayne Wade is my mans. Chris Bosh is my mans. The rest of these niggas, I don't give a fuck if I ever play with them ever again. You feel me? And you see it didn't it didn't create no beef between Wade and LeBron because they both played together again in Cleveland. You feel what I'm saying? So, and by the way, shout outs to you, Derrick Rose, because you've been balling the fuck out. I just want to say that one more time. That motherfucker dropped 50. I was like, damn. And it was so beautiful to see the brother drop 50. He was in tears and shit. Shit like that is just good to see, man. It's good for the city. And it's just good to see you can overcome a lot of things in life. You keep working hard, man. But to get back to where we supposed to be, who was right in this situation? Was the Golden State organization correct? Was Draymond correct? Was KD right? Here's my answer. None of them were right. Everyone handled the situation wrong. KD handled how he went at Draymond. Draymond, he mishandled the way he reacted to all of it. The organization, they reacted wrong to how they disciplined Draymond. So no matter how you shake it, this is a huge clusterfuck, okay? And see, I've already mentioned that I think Draymond wanted that last shot because Montrezl Harrell was punking him, but I honestly believe he was going to drive and kick it to Clay probably. But now the narrative changes. Now it's almost as if it's a preconceived or a foregone conclusion, if you will, that Adam Banks is now gone from Golden State. Where does he go from here? But see, when his mom comes out And then she goes out of her way to say how much she loves LeBron and Magic Johnson a day after this went down. Now it's getting real ominous. It's like, huh? Now this nigga wants to play to the Lakers? Doesn't he realize if he goes to the Lakers, he'll be making an even bigger bitch move? Well, hold on, let me take that back. It's not going to be a bigger bitch move, because that was the biggest bitch move he could have possibly made going to Golden State. But if you leave Golden State for the Lakers, I feel like everyone's going to look at you the rest of your career as just a tag-along, a sidekick. They'll never look at you as the guy. You know, you had the chance, KD. You had the chance. You could have went to Boston in free agency. You chose not to. You could have been the guy there before Kyrie got there, and who knows, maybe they still make the trade to get Kyrie, and now it's Kyrie and KD versus the world. But you were too much of a pussy to go there, okay? You could have went to New York before, I believe, before they even had Porzingis, or were sure of Porzingis. But you didn't want to be the guy that was running shit in New York. You didn't want to be by yourself then. Okay, so at the end of the day, KD is a guy who is scared to run a team. He's scared to carry a team on his back. He's terrified of this. He's a fucking string bean, okay? He don't want them problems, all right? But the fact that this man left Russell Westbrook, who legitimately had his back, for these niggas, and now they showing him he ain't shit, honestly, what career would y'all rather have? Would y'all rather have the Westbrook career, where everyone's gonna always love you for being the guy who was loyal to the end? Yeah, you didn't win no rings or nothing, but at the end of the day, you're a two-time triple-double average per season player. On top of that, you're an MVP. On top of that, you know, your branding has skyrocketed since you were betrayed, and Kevin Durant's branding has just plummeted since he betrayed you. I'd rather have Westbrook's career from this point further than KD's. And even if KD goes to the Lakers, I'm sure you Lakers fans, I'm sure you guys will forgive him for all the beta male shit. You act like it wasn't a beta male move at all because he just made one coming to your team. So you kind of act like, so now you're almost forced and coerced to act like the move he made to Golden State was okay because it led to the move to the Lakers. So we're going to see a lot of Lakers fans prove what I've always been saying about y'all. Y'all are truly closet Golden State fans, and you guys are willing to root for any team that's winning right now. But that's going to be funny in the future, seeing all y'all expose yourselves all over again. But I think this definitely could be a smokescreen, though, by KD and his mom. I think this could be a smokescreen. But the only other team I could see him going to is the Clippers, and I can't see him being on a team with Tobias Harris and Marcin Gortat and thinking that shit's hot. You know, and then in the same, well, they say the Clippers are actually building a new building that will, I believe, I forgot where it's supposed to be built, but it's supposed to be built right by where the LA Coliseum is. I forgot what city that is. I don't really know California that really well, but y'all know what city I'm talking about. That's in LA. It's like a subdivision of LA right there. But they're supposed to be building a new Clipper stadium, so that is supposed to play a role in this. But see, a lot of people thought KD would stay with Golden State just because they were building a new stadium. But, you know, Draymond pretty much fucked that up. Now, did any of y'all notice that during the Rockets game, another game Golden State happened to lose? Because I think they're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Did y'all notice that Steph and Boogie had to sit in between KD and Draymond on the bench during the 20-point spanking they got in Houston? This shows that ain't shit is squashed between them, y'all. Like, let's just really call space. Why you got two motherfuckers in suits sitting in between two players that just played in the game? That's by design right there. Sure, it's to show solidarity, but why couldn't Clay sit in between y'all? Because he sat in between y'all bitch niggas when y'all argued the first time. He said, never again. Clay out the jam, boy. Clay in the back of his mind, he like, shit, I'm almost out this bitch too. Everybody talking about KD. I think Clay is so happy this happened, by the way, because now he can leave Golden State if he chooses to. He can leave Golden State and no one will be more mad at him than they'll be mad at KD, because they'll always look at KD as the soft guy who sparked everyone to want to disband from one another. They're going to always blame KD. Always. And see, this is the risk of being that bandwagon player, man. This is the risk, man. You know, lip readers have even confirmed that after KD and Draymond went at it, that KD mumbled under his breath, "This is why I'm out. This is why I'm out." What kind of beta male? This is why I'm leaving. That's what women say, KD. You know, when you have a bad fight, not a physical fight, hopefully, not no domestic violence issue, but let's just say you and your lady get into a battle of words, okay? And let's just say y'all agree to let bygones be bygones and break up. You know, a woman is the first person usually to say, "This is why I'm done with this relationship. That sounds like some female shit, KD. I'm not trying to be overtly sexist. I'm just being honest, bro. You sound like a damn bitch-made beta male talking about, this is why I'm out. You about to win a three-peat, and you complaining because some guy said you a bitch. This is why I'm out, man. He called me a bitch. But weren't you the dude who called Rudy Gobert a bitch in the playoffs? You know, heaven forbid Rudy Gobert comes out and says, this is why I'm done with basketball. I'm going back to France now. Someone called me a bitch. That's how you sound, KD. You're taking your ball and you're going home. This is some Charlie Brown fucking shit. Okay? Like, this... I can't make this up. It was like someone wanted to gift Recency Bias Radio more content. It's like, oh. It was like Zelda when you have the new heart that you just unlocked and that bitch spinning and you about to hold that bitch in your hands. Oh. Like, that's how this shit was, bro. I'ma covet all this smoke. You feel it, dig me? But KD is clearly still mad about this because in the Rockets game, this hoe-ass nigga cheap shots Clint Capella with a forearm shiver to his back, and when Clint wasn't looking. It's just like a snake to snap you in the back, not the front. I mean, seriously, has KD ever once stepped to somebody that he wasn't 6 inches taller than and talked that shit? You see the way he's talking to the media right now? Don't ask me that question no more. Don't ask me that question no more. Oh, you a tough guy when it come to all of these motherfuckers that ain't competing against you. But then when it's a motherfucker your size, you act like a punk? Like, no one respects that bullshit. And the media's calling you out. Bro, the media is roasting your ass right now, KD. You made a huge mistake, KD. You made a huge... As soon as Draymond didn't pass you the ball, you should have just let it ride. Should have just let it ride. Now, you have turned all the magnifying glass on you. These other guys got 3 rings already, KD. The same amount as LeBron. You got 2. So if they lose, they blaming you. They ain't blaming Draymond. They've already blamed him for 2016. But deep down, they know Draymond's the only motherfucker that's keeping y'all spoiled, rotten ass motherfuckers at Golden State hungry. So they can't really blame that brother. You know, he's the necessary evil on the team, right? He's the coach on the floor. So, you know, I just think it's so funny, man. The media is using this as an opportunity, though. And see, this is where the Curry bias kicks in. Have y'all noticed how the media is using this as an opportunity to show more Curry bias by now implying Steph must be a great leader because they fell apart while he was hurt? What? This doesn't even make sense, y'all. But this is what they're doing. Steph isn't even a leader. He is a glorified system player. Now they're saying he's the little Tim Duncan? What does that even fucking mean? Like I'm seeing phrases used about Steph. Why does Steph always get compared to a light-skinned black dude? Like, that is a form of colorism that I think is very dangerous. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of the NFL. All of a sudden, Steph Curry's the little Tim Duncan. You can't think of no one else? Let me guess, he's the next, he's the Grant Hill of point guards? You know what I mean? Like, huh? They just look for any light-skinned black guy that isn't a threat. And then they say that's who Steph reminds them of. Basically, you know? And that's what I was getting to next. Have you noticed how the media only compares Steph to light-skinned stars in sports? The media is trying to make sure Steph gets all the credit after this team breaks up ahead of time. And this goes back to prove my point on why Steph tried to steal Finals MVP from Durant. It's because he knew the narrative was in his favor, so he could afford to be selfish at all times in the finals. Steph has never been the one to check Draymond, because Draymond was the leader of it all. Tim Duncan never had anyone besides David Robinson to be a leader over him, and that was because it was his team first, while Steph needed Monte Ellis traded just to feel loved by his organization. Kinda similar to how the same organization is now coddling Kevin Durant when you think about it, and are pretty much threatening to get rid of Draymond in order to keep KD. And let me tell y'all this right now. If y'all think getting rid of Draymond Green, the only alpha male on the squad, if y'all think getting rid of him, and I know there's people saying, well, if they get rid of Draymond, they can re-sign Boogie, though. If you think Boogie, a guy that already don't like KD, if you think Boogie and KD, if you think those two with Steph can coincide with each other, I'm letting you know, that's not going to be a cohesive unit. Number one, Klay is the most important player on the team, and no one is talking about him. Everyone keeps overlooking the most important guy. Klay allows Steph to not have to play defense. Okay? And Draymond is the most important player because of what, ladies and gentlemen? He's the only reason why the death lineup was put into fruition. Without Draymond being an undersized 5, there is no death lineup because everything else falls into place of what it should have been. Draymond at the 4, Harrison Barnes at the 3. You know, it would have been the same shit. But Draymond being able to guard guys 6 inches, 7 inches bigger than him, 5 inches bigger than him, allows for the transition game to be so great. And since Draymond is really the real playmaker of the team, Steph's not really the playmaker, it's really the scorer. But he does play make. But I'm just saying Draymond's primary objective on offense is to set the table for others because he can't really shoot. So it's best for him to have the ball and pass it to the shooter as opposed to him not having the ball at all and just spotting up from a place he'll miss the shot. Okay? So at the end of the day, Draymond, he is the most important player. You take him off that team. Everyone says he's the heart and soul, but no one says he's the leader. You notice that? It's the media's way of calling him a leader without calling him the leader. And I think it's disrespectful. Because if he had it in him to lead men like Draymond did, they would go out of their way to always say he's the leader. They wouldn't say he's the heart and soul. They never even say Steph is the heart and soul, but they do say he's the leader of the team because they always say he leads by example. That's what whenever someone is defending a nigga that they know is soft, they always say leads by example because they know if they say leads by example, they don't really have no examples of this nigga leading, so they just have to say look at his stats. That's what lead by example is. That's what translation means. Look at his stats. You know, but what is he saying in the huddle to get these dudes motivated? Not a damn thing. He's quiet. He's diminutive. Okay? He's not ready to carry all that weight. He ain't built that way. And that's why KD, Adam Banks, you made a huge mistake, man. You should have shut the hell up. Now, what are you going to do, KD? You're going to run from your problems at Golden State with 3 rings and join up with LeBron? And then y'all both going to end y'all careers with the same amount of rings? I mean, what's the next play here? See, people can say whatever they want about LeBron, but LeBron, I truly believe he always had an idea what his next move was every time he made a move. He always knew he could go back to Cleveland when he went to Miami. He always knew. Now, there were moments where he probably didn't think it was possible because Dan Gilmore was talking like a slave master, but at the end of the day, he always kept the options open. He never burned the bridge, right? He allows the white man to burn the bridge before he will, right? And that just separates LeBron James and his intellect from other players. Every player wants to be in control of their destiny, but every player can't control the narrative of their destiny the way LeBron can. And that's what KD's biggest flaw is. You got multiple social media accounts because you want to defend yourself. But when it comes to a grown man on your team, you can't defend yourself when you're there in person. You see what I'm saying? You know, you have nothing to say. This reminds me of when he was going back and forth with Westbrook. Look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. You remember that shit? You know what I'm saying? I told y'all KD ain't no trash talker, man. He's a front runner. He only got gassed up to talk as much shit as he was doing the past few years because of Draymond was enabling him. He was empowering him to be that kind of guy. Draymond was bringing the dog out of him, okay? But what is KD without Draymond bringing the dog out of him? What is KD without Westbrook inspiring him and motivating him to play like a dog? What is he? He's just a 7-foot shooter. That's all he is. When you really break it down, KD ain't a leader. He ain't vocal, okay? And at the end of the day, man, he's proven to us on several occasions that he's very mentally weak. And I hate to say this about a black man, but it's the truth, you know? So KD, man, you can go ahead and be like, this is why I'm out. This is why I'm out. But in order for you to say that, then you already admitted to yourself that you were already out before that even happened, that confrontation. So clearly there was something else that happened before then that you didn't address yet, and now you're using this as the reason to start addressing it. Now, on the contrary, you could probably use that to Draymond as well. If you're supposed to be this tough guy, then how come you ain't addressed this shit a long time ago? I can see it from both sides. But at the end of the day, when you're the real alpha male in the room, you ain't got to explain yourself to nobody. It's the bums, it's the betas that got to do the explaining because they the ones getting G-checked. And that's what's really real, man. So that's my thoughts on that, y'all. Like legitimately, man, I'm on Draymond's side. He's trying to make the NBA great again. I'm not mad at this, all right? Now, if KD goes to the Lakers, then I'm just going to hate the Lakers just as much as I've hated Golden State. Matter of fact, I'll probably hate the Lakers more than I ever hated Golden State, because I truly believe that now with KD showing how fucking bitch-made he is to the entire world, LeBron has more incentive than ever. KD wants to be the guy talking about, oh man, I want to compete against LeBron. LeBron should never want to play with KD either. I say, LeBron, go get Anthony Davis and go get another piece. Whether that piece may be Bradley Beal or John Wall, because a lot of bullshit's happening with them and the Wizards right now. So much shit that I'm not even privy to. But I wouldn't trade for John Wall because he's injury prone. But Bradley Beal would be a great fit with LeBron James. And Bradley Beal was the guy who earthed Draymond last season. So you know he got a can't go back gene. But, you know, it's funny. I was actually looking at this video that's gone viral now of KD cursing out a fan just because the fan called him a cupcake. You know, KD has so much energy when it comes to the fans. He has so much energy when it comes to the media. He has so much energy when it comes to all of these people that aren't 6'6", 6'7", 7 feet tall. He's willing to say all that tough guy shit to them. But when it's someone his size, he just holds back. You know, I was actually watching highlights of that Mavericks-Warriors game. And even though it says Kevin Durant had 32 points in 37 minutes, man, that doesn't tell the whole story, man. There's something going on with this team, man. They were down, the Warriors were down 3 points with 4 seconds left, and they chose not to foul. They just gave up on the game. They didn't even care. You know, that's the thing, man. These dudes win so much, they don't even give a fuck about the process anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't shit to them. It's all just like, whatever, we lost, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But this is hilarious to me, bro. Seeing this man curse out a damn fan who's sitting courtside just because they called you a cupcake. And let me remind y'all, that cupcake shit started in OKC, okay? So for a Mavericks fan to be woke enough in the moment to call you a cupcake, it just goes to show, KD, that ain't a butthurt OKC Thunder fan calling you that. That is, for all accounts, a Dallas Mavericks super fan calling you that. You feel it, dig me? So, hey man, for you to just tell him, hey, just watch the game and shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck? Do you go to the movie theaters and not say shit, KD? Like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? But this does nothing but further prove how soft you are. Motherfucker was calling you a cupcake and you couldn't just ignore it, bruh? I'm pretty sure in Utah they call you worse words than cupcake. You feel it, dig me? But cupcake pisses you off, it triggers you. The only way a nickname can trigger someone this much is if it's true about you, man. You know? You know? The only people that can take you down to size are usually your family, because they know you. You feel me? They know your whole story. So they can cut you down quickly. They can say stuff that'll hurt you like no one else can say, because they the closest ones to you. You feel me? Like, wise men once said that your friends are the only ones who can hurt you the most. Your friends or family. Everyone else, there's a certain degree of separation there where they don't even know enough about you to really cut that deep. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, man. He's being called cupcake from every angle. His teammate basically called him a cupcake to his face, and none of his teammates defended his honor in the process. So I know he looking at all them niggas a little different too. Man, it's just funny, man. Seeing Andre Iguodala try to be a comedian during his interviews, when he's being interviewed, trying to be funny and trying to play it off like he's some guy with a sense of humor. You know, it's like, nah, Iggy, you might as well retire after this season, because you know y'all ain't winning another title once KD gone. Y'all know that shit over with, coach. Ooh, these motherfuckers is salty, man. But yeah, man, Harrison Barnes was shitting on y'all, Golden State. Clay was checking him, got dropped the fuck off. KD was checking him, got dropped the fuck off. They put a little guard on him. I think they put Sean Livingston on him. He posted that motherfucker up and just fade away on his bitch ass. I mean, Harrison Barnes, man. I think Harrison Barnes gets a bad rap. A lot of people blame him for why they lost in 2016 because they wanted to protect Draymond in the moment. It seems like now the woke fan has blamed Draymond for that, and they've gone to accept that Harrison Barnes was a good role player for what he did for the team. I mean, you don't go 73-9 with a bad small forward. Harrison Barnes was a good small forward. Y'all just wanted KD. You feel me? And I'll never forget Harrison Barnes' wedding when Kyrie was looking at Steph imitating LeBron's dance and laughing at it. And I'll never forget that shit. That's that snake nigga shit. So Kyrie, he got the same snake skin. Don't get the game fucked up. And he's wearing green in Boston. And he fits well with that green because he's a true snake. You know? And KD, someone needs to say this. Stop wearing Sonics gear. Stop wearing Seattle Supersonics gear when you the nigga that left the Thunder. You feel me? You left the new school Sonics, and now you want to rock Sonics gear? Like, that's some fake nigga shit, too. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that there's rumors they might bring the Sonics back, actually. I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, man, it's funny, though, man. Just looking at all of these pundits talk about KD being the most mentally soft superstar they ever seen. I mean, even Skip admitted it. Skip, the guy who's always going out of his way to shit on LeBron being mentally weak. Now he's even admitting KD's mentally weak. I mean, it's hilarious, bro. It is hilarious. Do you see some of the guys on Golden State? See, they ain't got the same depth they've had over the years. They used to have Nick Young, David West, Pachulia. You know, they had reinforcements that actually were starters in this league at one point in time. Now they got bums. Jonas Jerebko, that bitch-ass motherfucker. I've never seen this dude talk so much during games until he joined the Warriors. It's like he wants to be one of the cool kids. We've all seen kids like that. Once they get with the popular crowd, they change up a little bit. That's Jerebko. Kevon Looney, fucking bum. Quinn Cook, fucking bum. That dude Damian Jones, that nigga's D-League bound. Sean Livingston, I mean, that's a guy that tore his leg up and it lowered his expectations, and then he just decided to be a role player the rest of his life. They got David Lee on their team? Oh, no, that's Damian Lee. I thought that said David Lee. I said, huh? When did he get back in the league? But yeah, so, I mean, the only person I really respect on their bench is Jordan Bell. And that's because I like his game. But outside of that, I mean, boy, hey, low-key, man, that rookie, what's that rookie's name that played for the Mavericks, bruh? Hey, that motherfucker was shitting on y'all. Luka Doncic, that motherfucker was shitting on y'all. That motherfucker was doing little teardrops and hook shots like I would at the rec. I said, oh, this motherfucker know how to play. Uh-oh. Let me take back all the negative shit I was saying about him. He might run away with that rookie of the year. He might run away with it because that motherfucker balling. And if he make the playoffs, he definitely gonna get it. There's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, so honestly, Harrison Barnes, man, you get the bad rap. But in reality, though, Golden State, once KD leaves, who y'all gonna replace KD with? Because the first thing they gonna try to do is re-sign DeMarcus Cousins. But see, here's the thing, though. You need another wing. You know, the depth lineup does not work if you don't have a wing that can play them starters minutes so Iggy can come off the bench. If Iggy is forced to start, he's going to be injury prone. He ain't going to be the same player he's supposed to be when the playoffs come around. Draymond's already breaking down a little bit. Steph is breaking down a little bit. All those finals runs break players down, and that's why I repeat, Klay is the most important player on the team. Because through all of this, who is the gold standard? Who is the most consistent? Who is the one who's the least injured out of all of them? Klay Thompson. Now, that motherfucker didn't want to send it between KD and Draymond after that one argument that happened in between them. He didn't want to do that shit again. But yeah, man, this is funny, man. You know, seeing all of these people talk about how, oh, damn, KD be losing it. He's emotionally unstable without Curry. I mean, there are so many posts like this all over YouTube of people trying to change the narrative as if Steph is the leader and KD is the follower. That's the only problem I got with all of this. People are using this to help build Steph's legacy while he's hurt. It's like, come on, bro. This is the Curry bias 4.0. You know? Oh, he must be the leader because they're playing like shit without him. Or KD is just a bitch. You feel it, dig me? Like, huh? Like, call me crazy, but didn't the Warriors win a playoff series without Steph Curry? Each of the past 2 years? Didn't they win a playoff series without him when he was hurt? I might be wrong, but I thought that's how shit happened. You know? So my thing is, or maybe it was 2 out of the last 3 playoff runs that Steph was hurt and they won a series without him. My point is, at the end of the day, though, they don't need Steph to win in the first round. They need Steph later in the rounds, right? Same way they don't need KD to win in the first round. They need him later in the rounds, right? So I don't want this narrative to flip on KD to the point where we start underrating how much he matters. I want us to still be honest. He matters a lot to this team. But at the same time, we need to stop giving Steph credit he hasn't earned, okay? The team is playing bad because they have chemistry issues right now because of what happened. Now, if you honestly believe if Steph was healthy and that same argument would have went down, if you honestly believe Steph would have somehow mediated that, you know there are reports that Steph went to Draymond's house during Draymond's suspension. There's reports that Steph went to go visit him. What the fuck is Steph gonna say to Draymond? Draymond's the leader. What are you gonna say to him? Oh, can I cook you something, Chef Curry, Draymond? Like, what the fuck are you gonna say to this dude? You know, he's a dog. He's not listening to you. And that's why when he had his first interview after speaking to Steph at his crib, he said, I ain't got no regrets. I'm the same person I'm always gonna be. And we've won championships off of this emotion, so I ain't gonna change a damn thing. So I didn't hear none of Stephanie's words influencing none of Draymond's in that interview. You feel it, dig me? And you notice Draymond's hurt now with a toe, and they're losing some more. And I know why Draymond played as soon as he was cleared to play after that suspension, because he didn't want the media to run with it that this is a bigger deal than it actually is. But see, Steve Kerr, that's exactly why you don't suspend him, and you just report he's injured. You know, but one could argue that it would have been the same situation all over again because he would have been missing more games and they would have been continuously losing anyway, and it would have just kept sparking the same question. But for KD to act all tough with a reporter, then act all tough with a fan, but then when it comes to your own teammate, straight up calling you a bitch several times in a row and you ain't got shit to say back, you lost all respect, KD. Even your biggest fans can't defend this. Because they know if a grown-ass man called them a bitch in real life, these motherfuckers ain't 7 foot tall with a 7'6" wingspan. You know, they'd still steal off that nigga. You see what I'm saying? But you ain't built that way. You know, you got your mom talking like your agent. You know, this ain't a good look for you, bro. And you don't got no woman to speak for. So, man, all this shit make you look bad, bro. All this shit got you looking bad, KD. You know what I think you need, KD? I think you need a loyal woman in your corner that ain't your mama. I think you need to get some pussy. And I think you need to get it often and realize there's more to life than this stupid shit. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Season 4, Episode 2, Trouble in Paradise. Happy holidays to all of you. If you're not celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you can still spend some time with your family this holiday season. I am Dave Smith, and this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. If you could, please like and share with all of the fans of sports that you know, and be sure to subscribe and click on that bell on the right side of my channel's page. That way you can be here live for all of my premieres of all my episodes. I truly appreciate all of you for listening and watching, and I'm gonna be back at y'all real soon in December, man. So y'all enjoy that Wilder Fury fight on December 1st, and I'm gonna get back at y'all on the flip side. Y'all be smooth, y'all stay safe, and most of all, y'all stay warm. But keep them takes hot, baby. I'm out. You have just listened to the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk Podcast Hall of Fame, Recency Bias Radio, with me as your host, Dave Smith, where no one is safe from criticism. If you're interested in further episodes, please subscribe and hit that button on the right side, because more will be in demand. You can now find our podcast episodes on SoundCloud and YouTube, along with our Recency Bias Radio rants. Thanks for listening, and always remember to keep those takes hot and keep that same energy.